How about this? The best possible way to close out day 2 of the NAL playoffs. The upper bracket final and a rematch of last year's NAL finals between Shopify Rebellion and Darkzero. Welcome back into our NAL studios, everybody. I'm Jonas Willinger alongside Foxe and Laxing. This one feels like it's been a long time coming. We saw this all group stage long. The two most dominant teams we had now face off to decide who goes to the grand final. Laxing, I mean, it is a beautiful story.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, we already saw what it looked like when they first played against each other, but now we're going to see what it looks like in a best of 3. And we heard Nafe in the end right there. It's not a best of 1 anymore. It's a best of 3.
Yeah, now the stakes are a whole lot different. Two powerhouse teams, as we said. Shopify Rebellion, they remain undefeated. Darkzero successfully bouncing back from back-to-back losses to end the group stage. But Fox, this is what's important for Shopify. They're looking to stay undefeated. They're looking to keep on moving, given the progress that they made earlier in that matchup. But they proved against M80 that they didn't have to do anything crazy. They didn't have to do anything special. If they lock in, play steady, play consistent, that they could win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about it in the interview that Canadian was the big reason as to their success because he always had a plan. And that's one of the highlights that we saw against M80. When SR was in those man-down deficits, they were constantly bringing rounds back because they weren't always getting the opening kills. And we saw that all across the board. First map, an aggressive take from M80. They get site control. You know, SR is in a 2v4 situation, but amazing play from Surf, and I believe it was Rexon upstairs to be able to deny top floor. Again, another play. Diffuser goes for an aggressive pick. He evens the man count, but then everybody peeks into SR, and they're able to play that man disadvantage into an advantage. And finally, on board of the round that you heard around the world, Canadian hitting an amazing shot in a 2v3 scenario that realistically, you should have no business coming back into this round. There's a Monty, the diffuser's planted in such an open place. Canadian hit beautiful shots, but that's the Shopify Rebellion strength.
And what a quote here from Super after the game, clearly kind of summing up how he feels that game went.
Yeah, I mean, you could call out both teams for their mistakes that were being made. I mean, when a game's going 8-7, it really comes down to little mistakes that the other team's just capitalizing on. Sure enough, Shopify, they end up walking away with it. Obviously, in that, they walked away where M80 may have, you know, slowly, painfully got out of there.
Well, they had a couple of big moments, as we mentioned, Canadian making that flashy play to end it. But there is someone else we got to talk about who excelled on that last map, and it's Spoit. He dropped 20 kills. Yeah. That is simply not something that happens easily.
Yeah, you know, again, there's so many players that you can highlight on this Shopify roster. We haven't really been able to highlight Spoit in the typical limelight where you find him, being able to drop big numbers, being able to have such a performance that speaks into existence, and dropping 20 kills to keep Shopify alive and have that result that pushes them now into this upper bracket final. It has to be highlighted, but it can't die out here. It has to continue in this matchup even more than it was going against M80.
Yeah, I mean, Spoit in that border match specifically was so pivotal on Shopify. Being able to close it out, I mean, besides that last amazing round, every single round, Spoit was getting a kill or two to put his team in such an advantageous positions. And even though SR was losing those opening picks most of the time, they were still able to bring it back because they have amazing players that can turn up on a dime regardless because they have that confidence instilled.
Well, Shopify's opponents right now, we just saw them take down Wildcard. Obviously, they'll be looking to continue to build on that momentum. But Fox, the question we had asked coming into that game was, would they be able to bounce back from back-to-back losses to end the group stage and continue that into playoffs? The answer is yes.
Yes, but it was a slow burn. I mean, we heard it from Nave himself. It was a little bit of a sloppy performance for them to be able to bounce back into it. But same thing, we're highlighting Shopify Rebellion's consistency, but for Darkzero, their consistency of just being naturally the better team reigned true. They were making less mistakes time after time, constantly playing off of each other. And, you know, this was one of the first games where, yes, Spirits was a big factor, but they weren't relying on Spirits as much as they were during the stage. That SR loss set them back, and now they've been slow walking back into it with him alongside everyone else.
Yeah, and it was important, you know, from the first map on Cafe versus then on Labs, was the biggest thing for me was their attack. They were getting stopped at every single angle from Wildcard with their aggression. But what we saw pivoting into Nighthaven Labs is DZ slowed down. They understood they can play the time. They can work together. They can find the gap. They can shut down the flanks. And that's really what propelled all of DZ through that Nighthaven Labs, especially on attacks versus vice versa on Cafe, where they were struggling. So righting their wrongs where you need to, and that really is where a best of 3 shows the ability from an IGL to understand where things were wrong from the previous game and how you correct it in the next, and that's exactly what they did. And I'm sure maybe they wanted to end it a lot cleaner, not push it so close to a 7-5, but the fact is they got it done. It now pushes them here to have this rematch against Shopify.
Well, we were looking at how these last few series have played out, and here's something interesting that we wanted to pull up for everybody at home. We took a look at the bans that Wildcard employed against Darkzero. You're looking at the 3 maps they played across the entirety of the stage so far, kind of giving you an indication, Lax, as to how teams approached the bans against Darkzero.
Yeah, every team's approach up until SR's match against them was get rid of Spirits, get rid of his playmaking ability. We talked about how much of an X factor he is, but then after that Shopify game, you clearly see the bans are changing. They are not focused on Spirits. They're focused on other players like Citizen, maybe NJR. But it leaves me to question, now that Shopify has already beat Darkzero by getting rid of Citizen, less focus on Spirits, now seeing that Spirits wasn't having the performance during their match, maybe they resort back to getting rid of the shields. Maybe they play a little mental warfare here, get in Spirit's head, eliminating that player, almost forcing a 4v5 scenario. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case, and I won't be surprised if they still don't focus on Spirits, but if they do at the same time, it'll be kind of interesting if they are going for a mental warfare.
I mean, I don't expect them, just because DZ has now been able to adapt a way where Spirits to be able to play with the DZ system, not being on shields. I mean, we saw him on the Glaz, we saw him on the Ying, but obviously the biggest reason as to DZ's success against Wildcard was Citizens. On that Deimos downstairs, it was very difficult to play around him, specifically on Nighthaven Labs. So that being said, if you are SR, you're going to keep the same game plan, attack Spirits, attack Citizens in the back line, and then focus on Spirits with your gun skill on the front line.
Well, let's take a look at what the game plan might be from a map perspective. We've seen a lot of Nighthaven today. We got some Chalet mixed in, some Cafe. When it comes down to this best of 3, obviously these teams had a chance to watch each other throughout these last few games, but you're bouncing right off of a series. You haven't had time to prep. Fox, what is the approach in a situation like this for a lot of these teams? I mean, you've been there. You go back to back to back.
You're going to want to go to a Lair, a Labs, essentially, if you're one of these two teams, one of those bigger maps where you're able to have a lot more fun on. That was we're going to see Shopify Rebellion picking out Labs. I mean, you could just tell with how the bans were going to go. A lot of the smaller, more default maps instantly getting taken out. And then, wow, look at that. Labs and Lair. Top 2 maps coming out.
On.
Makes perfect sense. Both good maps for both teams. They love to play the shields on both ends. We'll have to see if that implemented shield ban will be in effect.
I mean, I think this makes perfect sense. Obviously, both these teams just coming hot off these maps. I think in some scenarios here, I am more in favor of Darkzero, just given their performance from one map to the other, where Shopify, not to take anything away from the game against M80, it was a good bounce back, but I mean, you saw Super's quote. You know, I'm not going to quote it exactly, but you understand what I'm getting at here. I do think Darkzero, after coming off of a hot win like that, not having to go the distance, not having to exert themselves, there still is a lot more left in the tank, especially going now into Labs.
Also, there's a question that comes into play, which is how much time does Shopify Rebellion really have to be able to dissect DZ's Labs and really try to come up with some type of change within them just playing it to now? You know, they're not too probable that you're going to be seeing that many counter strats, but it's maps that both teams are familiar on, adds a lot of adaptation for both teams, and adds a lot of their X Factor players to be able to have a lot of room to play and go for those big plays.
Laxing, before we get into this one, can you take me a little bit inside the minds of what all these players are experiencing going through back-to-back best of 3s? Not necessarily even back-to-back, but like having to play multiple best of 3s in the same day. You've been in this exact position. How do you approach it when you're really trying to come out on top?
I mean, with both teams, they're comfortable. They're in a spot where they have now qualified for an event or got invited to an event now, so the pressure in that regard is off them. They know that now they just need to focus, they need to breathe, they need to reset. Everyone knows what it's like to be in this moment, and for Darkzero, this is a matter of righting their wrongs, being able to rewrite history, being able to rematch in a best of 3 that really showcases who truly is the better team between these two. And then again, for SR, just dialing it back a little bit, learning what they did wrong against M80, slowing things down, playing a much more concise game than what we saw during M80. But again, when you're in this situation, it's literally just wiping everything off, forgetting what happened from the last games, whether good or bad, and just focusing on the now. What's in front of you? What can you do to rewrite around? What can you do to fix around? What can you do to be a better player than you were the previous game, now going into this game?
Well, let's talk predictions really quick. My understanding is that you guys both maybe favor history. Do you like Shopify Rebellion here, considering that they are generally the team that comes out on top? I see SR there. Are you going to stick with that?
I'm going to stick with SR. I feel like they're just a more consistent team. I mean, if they just played the same way, they had a really good game plan against DZ. They're the most adaptive team currently in the NAL, so got to give it to them.
You know, I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to be part of the Darkzero fan base here and say Darkzero ends up taking this. Not by a landslide by any means. I do expect both these games to go head-to-head, possibly all needing 15 rounds from each game, but I will ultimately end with Darkzero.
And going for the, seeing if they can change the course of history a little bit. Rexon told us that they always get the edge.
Yeah, it always happens. Team. Whenever you beat a team and then you play them later, they always beat you back. So, you know, it's a good gauge.
All right, well, it's a rematch of last year's NAL Finals, a grudge match from earlier in this stage. It is the upper bracket final. Lynx and Ali, eager to hear your thoughts.
Thank you very much indeed. We do have Darkzero and Shopify for our upper bracket final here tonight. It is going to be our last best of 3 of the evening, and I cannot wait to get stuck right into it. DZ have had around 25-ish minutes to prepare since that game from Wildcard. I want to ask you, Lynx, do you think that Shopify have managed to mentally recover after that long-ass game that they had against Wildcard? Because that was a grueler.
Well, I am actually curious because, you know, there's one benefit of playing a game earlier in the day or earlier in the bracket, whatever, before your opponent, is you get a bit warmed up, right? You're not going in cold. You've had not only some time to just like get the aim figured out, but also like iron out maybe some minor issues, maybe major ones, but hopefully just minor ones. But then there's also games like the Shopify and Mady game earlier that just drain you, that take everything out of you, where you go 8-7 on both of the maps Shopify won in a full 3-map series. Games where they were winning and Ambi looked tired. Games where Troy was getting angry. Everyone was getting angry. Hot and Cole was getting angry. Gunner was getting angry. Troy was getting angry. Everybody was getting angry that game. It looked like an emotional affair on all sides. And frankly, there's getting warmed up. And I imagine Shopify have taken some time, Ollie, to recover. But some series take it out of you. And I have to imagine that one was a little bit draining.
There's definitely a difference between getting warmed up and then running a marathon.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like,
it's like, I warmed up with an
jog
Iron
around
Man.
the block. Yeah, like a little jog around the block, I'm warm. I'm loose, you know? A marathon, I'm beat. I'm signing off.
It's not happening. Not happening.
SR have to go back into that breach, though, here tonight against DZ. And let's be honest, that DZ game we just saw, it wasn't necessarily clear-cut. They got the win, and I'm sure that they're going to VOD review that in the coming days. But it wasn't like they walked all over Wildcard in that fixture. They did get the result inside of 2 maps, but a couple of rounds go a couple of different ways, and we might still be a satcast in that game. You never know. We are going to be headed to some very familiar territory for map number 1. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Is this the first time we've ever seen dead split 50-50?
That is crazy. And honestly, obviously, of course, it makes sense for the matchup. Shopify, Darkzero, likely the 2 best teams inside North America. But if you did not see that grand final, arguably one of the best series in NA history, NAL Grand Final Stage 2, best of 3 that featured all 45 rounds played, 8-7 on every map, and on Border, the final one, Shopify won 8-7 to be the NAL and the reigning NAL champs. So if there's any game to get a 50-50 on the socials, it would be this one. It will be Nighthaven that we are starting out with, though. The second map played by both teams in their respective series today. Darkzero won it 7-5 against Wildcard about 25 to 30 minutes ago. Shopify won it in a barn burner 8-7 game against M80. I have to hope it'll be just as close here.
I'm sure it will. I had a little bit of a question about Nighthaven Labs coming into this, because we were discussing maps and preferences a little bit earlier on, and you've got quite an interesting DZ Nighthaven Labs statistic, haven't you?
I do. So you mentioned it very briefly. This is like the record one, right? We talked about a lot of
record one.
today.
Yeah.
So we all alluded actually to this earlier in the wildcard game, but Darkzero's history on Nighthaven, the org, is interesting. Because when Canadian was IGLing the team, this was not only a staple map in their pool, it was actually quite a popular one. They had close games against FaZe at Atlanta, for example. That's a game I actually remember quite vividly. But from when the map came out in September of 2020, or when the map came in the pool, in September of 2023, to when Troy left the team, they played it, I want to say 12 times, or at least had it up 13 times total. Yeah, 12 times. Since Troy stopped leading the team and Nath became the primary IGL, including the game against Wildcard today, they have played it 6 times. They have played it half the amount of times since Nath has come on the team in about the same amount of time.
It's a big difference indeed. And it kind of leads you to believe, why are we here? Because it isn't a map that DZ play a lot. Is it a map that they like? Like, we're still finding it out, aren't we? We only seen them for the first time this stage play it only, what, 30 minutes ago?
Something like that. Ooh, here we go, though. Might be a little bit of a quick one. Dope call goes out. A lot of pressure Aqua side. Spirits doesn't care. Running this Ying shotgun quite frequently. I certainly had my doubts at the beginning of the stage, but it's moments like that that have started to make me a believer. Pamazoo all the way deep inside a sight finds Spoy. This is as dominant a Darkzero round as you could hope. Pamazoo and Surf both a bit lost in the sauce in the chaos of round 1. It's an easy kill for Ambi to find. The flash go out to stave off the flank. He gets it anyway. Secondary utility not a problem. This diffuser not going down. One of the highest rated players in all the NAL right here. Ambi, what a crazy stage he has had so far. The development as a player in the past year since coming out on this team after SI 24. Not a rookie anymore, but a 1v5 would be quite insane to start, especially as Darkzero. All take their post-plant positions, little sparky flick, but no shots landed. And on the opposite side, as clinical a killer as there ever has been in North America, NGR 4 years on this DZ roster, and he is still not letting off the gas.
He's still got miles in the tank, ready to go. Big performance earlier tonight. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't expect another big performance out of him now. DZ really bringing a different level of pace right off the rip. It's again, like we talk about, one of the benefits of playing a game and then immediately going into the next one. You've got no time to prepare, but your opponent hasn't had the time to prepare either. And they've had to find a good quality scrim or something to keep them occupied in that interim. DZ showing that they have not forgotten. They are straight in with the heat there in round number 1. Not to say that they're going to play every single round like that, but they saw a big opportunity there. And I mean, it was a gap of sorts, but there was a lot of brute forcing as well.
Yeah, definitely saw that there was a bit of a bias towards Garage and Aqua, even if momentary, and we're able to hop in off the back of that. Interesting Nomad ban, by the way, from Shopify, just to talk about that. We didn't really see much of... I think we... Actually, no. Oh, no, I'm thinking of Wildcard. We only saw one Nomad run from Wildcard. Did see a lot of it from Darkzero. Let me check. Yes,
I remember DZ doing a really good job of manipulating players with that Nomad as well.
Yeah, 5 out of 6 rounds on the attacking side. A lot of air jabs placed on the IT, like the inside of IT, to control anybody swinging out towards that breach. It was a huge focal point of their attacking side, so honestly, good shot by Shopify to ban it. The rest is, not that complicated. Saw a lot of clash from Troy in particular on that second floor.
This is like we always talk about, or we've started to talk about, where the bands get a little bit more exciting, and there is that room to just target. And I like that from Shopify. It could allow them to be a little bit looser, and that's already being demonstrated here. Got Spoit ready for a bit of an impact trick there on that top floor. He's just used his Scopo shell to get up there. It's going to be DZ with another opener.
Oh my god. They're really trying to take this one quick. Not being phased at all by these Shopify roams. It's another almost flawless. Surf might get one, but just like Ambi, these might not matter. That's Diffuser, though. Look at how many players he has to deal with. Darkzero coming in hot off of that 2-0 victory over Wildcard. We've had 2 rounds, and about the span it took a single one in our series just an hour or so ago.
It's almost jarring. I feel like I'm getting whiplash right now. We've gone from like really slow and very well telegraphed pushes to DZ just absolutely flooring it.
I mean, like, honestly, that's kind of crazy. Obviously, like, Shopify have not... they played Nighthaven, what, once against C9. Was a very close game. And then going into today, they didn't really change a whole lot. For example, like that strat right there. We saw Spoit and Shopify run that Scopos roam in the C9 game. It's actually the final round where Spoit just decided to end it. Decided to get a bunch of kills and basically shut C9 out of probably one of the closest games they had that stage, a game they could have gone OT on. Then it runs it again against M80, where we see, a 2-man hold at the top floor. And Darkzero say, okay, we've seen this. We think we can get away with just a bunch of execute utility and flooding into the site. And by golly, they were right. Just look at this, especially NGR finding Ambi on that roam. Also what fell against in the M80 game. Gavini finding Ambi, I think around a similar position. Really good coordination.
The really interesting thing about the way that DZ are moving at the moment is that's the second round where they found 2 very early opening picks. Like early in the context of the round, both of those were from outside to in and just catching Shopify players as they're rotating around. But there has been no hesitation, absolutely zero, from then what DZ want to do off the back of that. Very sharp coming into this, and it's impressive to say that they've just had a very close series where either map realistically could have gone into an overtime or even to a third map. Shopify stunned into taking a very early tactical timeout now, but I feel like they're still going to be left guessing to a degree because DZ can't keep up that level of pace. They're not going to constantly be gifted those opportunities at early picks and gaps in the defense.
That is true, but what I will say, they have conditioned Shopify. They've made them concerned about it going forward.
Yeah.
It's something that's going to be in the back of their head and is going to affect certain players' behavior, maybe the team's overall call. It's not going to result in a fundamental change, but it's likely going to result in Shopify just being a bit more concerned at the beginning. And then if Darkzero don't push in, you get a little nervous. Like, okay, well, might be a minute and a half, but are they just going to rapidly pick up the pace? You don't know exactly.
I think they're just showing at the moment that they can operate at a multitude of different levels.
Making a statement.
Yeah. And really stamp it down, like, why not? Shopify have already been through the ringer earlier on this evening. You don't want to let up on them at all. Ram very quickly going to get sent into IT there. Spirits, under the cover of a Lion Scan, going to start to try and move through, but will get caught in the FNATs. That gives his position away.
Ooh.
Ambi currently on a death mark as well. It doesn't seem like Shopify have anywhere to go here.
That's my concern. Darkzero just spreading out, looking to trap all of these roamers on the top floor. Ambi looking for something on the way out. Oh, but it's just a little too far to the right. Pamazu swings out on that long angle, bests Ambi with that better scope. Surexon in the 3v5. He would have liked to fall back. He would have liked to drop down below. He tries to play his life, but these deathmark trackers are unforgiving. Citizen the Hunter picks up this trail, tries to pre-fire, but it's so easy. It's like air for Darkzero right now. These kills, these rounds, they are light as a feather. And yet bring down the pressure as heavy as a mountain upon these Shopify defenders. Canadian feeling it will falter, buckle a little bit, and rotate down below. As if they wanted to. Darkzero could just reset.
45 seconds. Deathmark tracker. C4 for Canadian. Lands a bit of damage, but not much more. Great shot onto Pambazu.
Clean shot.
There's always going to be a long road. DZ. Another clinical round.
It's like...
That top floor roam clear was a thing of beauty.
I'm just like... I'm looking at this and I'm like, Were they sandbagging against Wildcard? They were not playing like this. They weren't playing bad. Don't get me wrong. They were playing good. But it did not look like that.
No. It didn't look that decisive.
Didn't look that fast.
I mean, what I will say is we haven't really seen Shopify win a gunfight yet. They've got 5 kills in 4 rounds. So it isn't like, you know, I don't even feel like it's a fair fight at the moment.
Well, you know what's the crazy thing too? Every single one of these kills so far have come when the round is 5v1.
Oh yeah.
Both
They've
of
all been
Ambi,
exit frags.
yeah.
They've all been impactless.
Yeah, both of Ambi's kills came after all of his teammates died. Both of Surf's kills, same thing. That round, it's a 5v1. Canadian kills Pamazoo. That's it. Literally.
This is what you're going to tell me it's been basically 3 flawless rounds.
Yes. No, but like actually, like literally, all 5 of Shopify's kills have not had any bearing on the round.
It's true.
Literally 0. Like they have cost in name only. None of these kills have actually had any impact. It is as if Darkzero are like in map training.
Scary place to be.
Timeout's already gone. This is Shopify, like, I mean, to be fair, not Shopify completely warm. Darkzero literally coming off a Nighthaven game 35 minutes ago. We're going to keep referencing the time, and it's just going to get slightly bigger every time. It was 20 minutes earlier, now it's 30. Now it's 35.
Yeah. Next time we do it, it will be 45.
But it's not like Shopify don't have experience on this, and I doubt Darkzero did all that much VOD review and that much prep. This is just crazy. This is something different entirely.
Oh, well, that's the other thing, is that DZ have had to prep for like almost 3 games today because they don't know who they're going to be going up against. Like,
very well could have gone against M80.
Yeah, Kenny isn't prepping, you know, on the fly in the 20 minutes between the games. Like, these are all prepped beforehand. You never really know what is going to happen. Again, get an IT open nice and early. It's kind of interesting that SR aren't going for a bandit or anything of that nature to try and slow that down a little bit. It seems like DZ have really just got whatever they want and kind of got it for free at the moment. Even the smokes, we've not seen true value out of it. Oftentimes, DZ players just balling straight through it.
He's going out. Warding Sploit off of retaking control of Garage. I mean, a minute and a half in, they've already pushed the Azami out of here. Not taking any damage. Destroyed Kibas too. Darkzero just battering and pushing these defenders back. You've got Spirits on the opposite side looking to backstab Aqua. I mean, surely Shopify are ready for that. He sprints through, and yeah, they are. That's good foresight. Also just good awareness, considering what happened before. Spirits literally tried to hit that exact same position on the previous round. And now a Citizen falling. Darkzero looked to try and carry the same pace, and Shopify are not making the same mistake twice.
It's similar to the way that Wildcard played one of these rounds, where it was that classic recognize what's important. Like, yeah, the catwalk's important, but it's not so important that we need to die there. Rexon will fall. DZ are leveling this up.
Oh my god, no way. Ambi swinging. Canadian might get the trade, but he's put to 1 HP. Nath getting the diffuser down. Panda can cover this effectively. They don't know. He can fall off, fully extend the shield. This could be 4-0 right here. As Surf swings around, slow peaks that angle. It costs Pamba his HP, but this is easy. This is a layup. This is a choked round for Darkzero when all hope seemed lost. And if the M80 game was stressing them earlier, that is a tilter. That is a chalker. That is Darkzero saying, get the hell out of my lobby.
What do you do if you're SR? At this point, genuinely, what do you do? Do you just say GG, go next, and recognize it's a best of 3?
You can't, it's your
I know
pick.
that Super famously has the mindset of every round 0-0, but there's got to be a point where that starts to stress you out a little bit.
Dude.
I thought that Shopify had done a really good job of retreating back, but Nathan Pamba just find huge openings.
Nice! Oh my god! I'm such a genius! I'm such a genius!
I mean, like, you gotta be honest, though. They had the right play. They had control and pressure on the other side of the site. So then once they get the 3v3 because Shopify give away some picks, then they just pressure Ambi. He's in a really difficult spot on that pillar. Like, obviously, part of it was Shopify giving away an advantage, but Nath isn't just, like, saying that because he won the round and got that kill at the end of the defuse plant. That was a good play in the 3v3 to take down Ambi, then just put the case down. It was a very good call. Great mid-rounding from Nath.
Activating camera.
Is the cap can going to be enough? We often say that who can cap can. It's going to have to do a lot of work here, Ambi.
Spirits is dying to an EDD. Like, there's just no way.
We need those EDDs in good spots. Like, we need off spots. We need things that no one expects. We need the deepest, darkest, ranky spots for those.
Well,
I want to see value.
Speaking of things no one expects, Citizen actually doing exactly what Spirits did.
Oh, the old sledging down below.
Yeah, little sledge lurk.
Again, it
Here we
looks
go.
quick.
Oh, another quick one. Roaradora out. Nath looking to smoke. Might just try to put the diffuser on that door, but surely they expect it. Ooh, Ambi gets his coverage. Citizen on that lurk shut down. That other angle to try to distract, not really going to work. Spirits falls, but this case still goes down. 2v5, though, surely not. Nath especially, yeah, 1v5. If any round were to fall, it's got to be this one. Shopify get one on the board. And that's it.
There it is. There it is. We asked for value. We got it.
That's value. Damn.
Oh, I absolutely love that.
That's a 4v1, and Troy ain't even happy.
It's damage control at this point for SR.
Troy's mumbling. Ambi Spoit dissociating.
I mean, on the balance things, you can kind of understand why SR are a little bit pressed still, because
100%.
that wasn't really a good strat from DZ. I think they're maybe riding a little bit too on the high that they've had great success in earlier rounds and really nothing they've done's come up against any obstacle. That was just a little bit of a press too far. I don't even know what kill has to go the other way for that to work out. You know what I mean? I think it was more than just one.
I was literally going to say, good for Ambi for getting that, but like, I don't really know if even Citizen winning that fight would have changed things. I mean, I think it would have. Like, you have control of that staircase. If anybody's rotating down, it does affect things pretty nicely. Plus, you can pressure in the site. But everything did just go so colossally awry. Especially since, like, once they saw him put that smoke down, you see the Monty, it's like, okay, I know where this guy's planting.
Yeah.
Like, I know where he's putting the diffuser down.
I think for DZ, it's important that that doesn't become a trend and that they don't constantly feel like they have to look for gaps like that and instead can just play into some more sort of tried and true default stuff. It's worked really well for them so far, so what do I know? But that's not the kind of round that you want to be seeing repeated multiple times. And it looks as though we're going to be going a little bit slower now anyway, with no shield. Walls have been opened nice and quickly. BP's removed. Plant spot already scoped out there. A little bit of available. Spirit's just getting the lay of the land. Could try and set up a little drone inside a site as well for any sort of post plants. Canadian going to be rocking the Echo this time, though. And the way that some of these rounds have going, with DZ being fairly plant focused, could be a good choice.
Not a bad idea, especially as it happens, no IQ for Darkzero. Could very well go unspotted. It's worth mentioning as well that Darkzero were playing wildcard with running glass a lot of these rounds. Deimos as well. Not a lot of time to switch things up. And yet even then, Darkzero have found ways in this attack so far to catch not only Shopify, but us off guard too. Citizen cutting off the flank. Looking to pressure these garage roamers. Now the utility goes out. The smoke's down below. It's just a fake. We try to pull some of these vertical players back. Maybe catch somebody off guard, but it's not working. Pamazu walks up garage. Rexon finds him. Spoit's still looking down. It's a good trade. But is this going to be the follow-through from DZ? Yes, it is. Nath walking in, trying to find it. He'll fall off. Try to live to fight or plant another day. Yokai's also moving into position. That initial gambit inside does not work, so Spirits will push deep. Citizen finding another up top. That's the roamer that forced Nath off the plant. They have this control, but it is so shaky. It is so tenuous. Shopify can retake in the site and the vert. Citizen now having to drop down, join the IGL, the two Brits for Darkzero with only 45 seconds.
Really not a lot of time to try and make anything happen here, and their hold of the site is slim to none right now. See Nath trying to make some sort of vert happen. He's rotated all the way up these exo stairs. But I believe there's still a yokai drone for Canadian, and if he's tucked, that's very likely the win condition.
Ooh. Okay, pre-fire though. Okay, headshot on a Canadian. That's the yokai down. It's just Ambi. If that second floor round was a chalker, Ambi to fall here. This might be the map mentally done. He's spotted too. They've got full intel. How does he make this work? Nade on the cross. How are we here? The calling, the comms, it is collapsing. Falling apart for DZ. They about gave them round 5 on a silver platter as a consolation prize. Shopify are mentally out, and it is not even the second half.
There's some beaten faces on those player cams right now. Shopify do not have their timeout. They used it at the end of round 2. 3 versus 2 there. With the pressure and the ground that DZ held. Incredible to get that off. I'm super surprised at Canadian for swinging. I can only think that both of the yokais got destroyed. I know that we saw one get shot by spirits. Maybe the other one got destroyed as well. Nath getting into the old chat.
As you should.
I mean,
you know they're tilted.
Big
Okay?
rivalry. Take advantage of that.
That is absolutely true. Big rivalry. Now, obviously, as we saw, that was fuel for Canadian when these two teams last met on Lair in the group stage. Ooh, Rexon just ready for that one. So the beef has been squashed, in all seriousness, but it is still fire for both of these players. But you know they're tilting. You just know they are. 2 rounds they've thrown. A 3v2 in that round, and then in Command, what, 3v5 or 5v3?
Yeah.
You already saw how drained they were getting against the M80 game. This is
It should be a 3-3, really.
100%.
And yeah, here we stand at a 5-1. Side swapped. Double denial on the side of DZ. They have banned Cade. Sorry, on the side of Shopify, they have banned a Cade and a Bandit. DZ have banned Thermite and a Monty. And the Monty is pretty much a gimme ban. You're going up against Canadian. We know how powerful he can be. We only have to think back to a few hours ago on that border game to know how devastating he can be with the Monty. The Blitz a little bit less so, but it's still going to be picked here inside of round number 7. Shopify need to get a round on the board, and they need to get it early here. We're really entering that danger zone right now. DZ have still got a tactical timeout. There may be a mindset where they don't really want to have to use that because it, of course, gives Shopify a little bit of time to stabilize as well. So I would expect that to be used as a real last resort. But in the meantime, all the pressure's on Shopify right now. They have to make something happen on this attack.
And Darkzero also know what Shopify's game plan is going to be. Not like, you know, not that Shopify can't switch things up, but you know Troy's going to probably play Blitz. I mean, even like, he was playing Blackbeard earlier, which is like his least played shield. You know they're going to try to go for plants off the back of it. You know what the general vibe is going to be. It's Shopify Rebellion. They bring a lot of cool strats. They bring these new ops, but you know they like to go for plants. You know they like to go for executes. Troy likes to get all his pieces set up, get them activated. But right now, Rexon, who was having an insane series earlier, 1-5. Spoit, 0-5. 4 of Ambi's round kills came in the 1 round that Shopify won. It has just not really been much of a game so far. And what's going to be even less of one for Rexon. Simple C4, NGR 5-3. Huge day from him across that wildcard series. Doesn't even need to really show up all that much right now.
Just ridiculous. NJR today has been impeccable. Spoit, welcome to the scoreboard. Round number 7. You're going to find your kill onto Pamba.
Ooh, okay.
It'd be good for one as well.
And, Citizen with the fallback. Yeah.
Both C4s spent at this point for DZ. They do have a little bit of info. They've got a default cam, but that's about it. There'll be a BP in the site, I would imagine. They're not going to have much of a way of dealing with any of this vertical pressure if and when it comes through. Still plenty of breaching charges, so I would stay tuned for that. Cam's hacked as well. Spoit having one of his rounds where he just decides.
Maybe. Might just be deciding that Shopify been losing for too long. Gotta be careful. Canadian, very low HP. Tagged by a wayward shot. That might be it. NGR's been hitting some nasty ones today. It's gotta be a 1v3 for it to happen. He's held by the breach and the blitz. Might just push for the kill here. That's exactly what they'll do. Shopify, stop the bleeding at least. Their first attack on the board, but it is only 2-5, and you can see victories are cold comfort for the Rebellion.
I don't think that we will see Shopify get too excited in this map unless things get very close. It's going to be a mood lifter for sure. But they need that. And they need it again and again and again to try and draw level with DZ right now. That basement site, I'll be honest, not my favorite. We see a lot of teams switching it up and going for the mid floor. Even going for kitchen. I think kitchen can be a good site to take sometimes. Just a little bit of a curveball that you throw into the mix. Top floor is going to be the bread and butter of defenses here on Nighthaven Labs, and that's exactly where DZ are going to take us for round number 8. They're going to mix things up slightly. Nate's going to be rocking the Clash this time. Citizen on the Malusi. So a little bit more of an early warning system that's going to get placed out there. DZ in their trademark, let's hide the Clash spot. So Citizen hiding the Clash earlier in that very corner. This time it's Nate. It hasn't done too much though, because there's a heck of a lot that you can use to deal with a Clash in the lineup that Shopify have brought.
And also the Bravo to hunt down those Banshees too.
I like the lineup.
Yeah, really, really nice lineup from Shopify. Also excited to see what Ambi can do on this Deimos. Mentioned that a lot of the times the death marks will go below with the shotgun, but there's no shotgun here. Ambi instead running the AK. I also mentioned earlier that those vertical angles can be a bit pesky. A lot of the times it seems that even against great players, the defenders can always just find an angle on that Deimos. It's never the retake he might die from. It seems to be that vert spot. So I'm curious if even Ambi will go there.
SR just coming up against a little bit of obstacle right now. That Bravo drone is going to get destroyed quite early, and this breach is very much less than ideal. Nade gets sent in to destroy the mute, but Mute Jammer's going to remain? That's a rough one. Ambi's going to have to commit his second nade, and even that misses. Oh, dear. These guys couldn't buy a chance at the moment. Really unfortunate, but I mean, let's be honest, there are loads of ways of dealing with that. When we saw Citizen playing a lot of Deimos, he was going in below into storage and using the Vendetta to shoot up through the floor. Like, a lot more of a guaranteed way. That's another Brava drone that's going to get lost to try and clear out that Mute Jammer. Look what this is doing to the time. Half the round's gone and we haven't got IT open.
Ambi's got a revolver that breaks open the floor in 2 shots. You have garage control. Got a drone set up. There are ways around this. Rexon sees one sitting behind that Clash. But the defense is going to feel very, very bold if they want to retake IT later in the round.
I think DZ just need to dig in right now. We've got 3 smokes. They have a C4. Finally, the breach gets opened in the final minute. They've also got the Clash. Look at what that has done to the util that SR have brought for this round. They haven't got a lot at all for this final push. Airjab will go out there and give Surf a little bit of surety. A drone at his feet. Banshee can be destroyed. But all this is ground that DZ are happy to give up right now. Finally, we get a Deathmark track, but it does nothing.
No. Easy find for Citizen. Surf sees him flirting on the opposite side. But like you said, Darkzero just need to dig in. They've got their trench. It's dug. They've got the turrets lined up against Shopify's attack. Canadian will get one, a long angle on NJR, but everybody from DZ is just waiting for them to push, begging them to do so. They know this is 6-2. They know that Nighthaven is destined to go their way. Just one more round, and they will make it so. Wildcard gave them a tougher challenge. Darkzero, not at all worried by the formerly flawless Shopify.
This is really shocking. I was not expecting this game to go this way at all.
Shopify's pick, by the way.
It's crazy. I mean, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We could still see 3 maps. We could still see a world where SR bring it back.
I don't know, man. You've got Canadian on the team, one of the greatest IGLs of all time. You can't get a mute jammer off IT wall.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be real.
No, I mean,
Two
for
nades,
sure.
2 nades, 2 clutch drones lost the moment they entered garage. Minute and 40 seconds, spent until they even opened that wall. Surf pushes in, destroyed the Banshee with 45 remaining. What do we have?
They
What
put so
do
much
we
effort
have?
into opening that. It was like, did you see the player from DZ? I didn't get a glimpse of who it was, but there was a player from DZ that was playing inside of connector. Like, wasn't playing pillar, had switched up because there was just 0 coming from anywhere else on the map other than garage. They were like, all right, there's low time. Yeah, I'm just going to play in connector. This is all coming through garage. We know where everyone is. No worries.
It's just like, I mean, this team could recover. They've got the talent and the brain power to, like, figure this out in round, and they've got the skill to come back 4 rounds, but, like, our tac timeout got burned 2 rounds in, and we can't get a mute jammer off IT wall. Like, I'm just... At least I like the lineup.
Maybe the stomachache that Super was referencing has gotten a little bit worse.
Maybe it's spread to the head.
Don't think that can happen.
Well, I'm looking at it.
Ambi making a little crouch walk in downstairs. He has taken, I think what we're now going to start calling the sledge route.
True, actually.
It's very popular for a sledge to just get in through, reach open the wall, and just lurk for a little bit. Why
It's
not?
a nice spot.
A good chance of catching a defender off guard as they rotate down through the map, especially when you're looking toward a kitchen site.
Ooh. There is a little bit of a gap here. Only Barb covering this, and just Nafe on that side. You can see Troy go in. Canadian flashing the players upstairs. Really difficult spot.
Ooh,
Oh,
dear.
no. That's Diffuser. Nobody trading it. Surf stuck inside. That castle barricade not dealt with. Citizen gets him, too? You've got to be kidding me. And he does have a gap. That's the sad thing. They don't know he's there. He's got the Dokubi call right next to him. And yet the bulk of the push up tops collapsed around him. He's given away his position. Doesn't even have the kill. There's not much Darkzero can do to react to it right now, but that's fine. Just don't give it. He picks away, reset. 3 players all rotating around that diffuser. The Nafe will fall. And so Shopify begin pressuring that site. They have full man advantage on the player in kitchen. Surely they get NGR. Make this a 3-3. He still dies. A 1v1 in pantry. It's done.
It really is.
Just send it to Lair.
You got Spoit alive. You got that at least. 2 low players.
No,
Still 35 seconds. It isn't beyond the realms of possibility. It's just unlikely.
not happening. 3, 2. Okay, hold on. Hello. Okay, hold on. Wait. Please do not troll. Hold on. He knows he's there. Hurt him up top. No. If he hits this shot. No, wait. Shut up. 17 seconds. No call. Citizen has diffuser. No, he's there. Sound made. The goo mine! The goo mine! Yeah, they're tilted.
Of all the ways to lose a map, after Spoit's just pulled 4 kills out of nowhere, a goo mine is the undoing. I think that just about sums up SR's experience on Nighthaven Labs.
Jesus.
There was nothing that was going their way. DZ played great, don't forget. Like, let's not take anything away from DZ here. They came out of the gate sprinting. But nothing went Shopify Rebellion's way at all. They could not catch a single break.
I can't believe that. I don't even know what to say. I mean,
Well, I
hopefully
think we got
that's
some
something
analysts
else.
that do know what to say. Let's send it over.
He's literally one. Literally one.
Lobby, looking up the... I'm at lobby stairs now.
I'm dead.
You lot, I've got to fucking stop doing that.
Listen, I'm calling for you guys.
No, but good shit, boys.
Yeah. Good done.
I need my bomb.
Masterclass, boys. Well fucking played. Absolute masterclass.
A very one-sided start to this series, a surprising one given how close we expected, maybe at least surprising to me, how close we expected this one to be. Fox, this was spooky. I mean, for Shopify to be completely shut out, I mean, it seemed like the mental was chalked right out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, I think surprising before we got into the game, maybe, but once I started seeing how Shopify Rebellion was playing, it low-key looked like they were just mentally chalked. I mean, them sitting and being able to watch DZ maybe took the heat out from under them. DZ coming off a big win, jumps into it, and they were playing ready for aggression, and that's what Shopify Rebellion gave to them. Constantly over-peaking, constantly going for swings that didn't need to be done. Shopify Rebellion looked like they were trying to either win it in 7-2 or lose it in 7-2, and that's exactly what happened.
You know, as much as I want to give praise here to Darkzero for just a phenomenal performance, masterclass of aggression, just bringing it straight to Shopify, I really have to, give the credit to coming off to a game of beating Wildcard 7-5 and then immediately jumping straight back into a Labs where you can immediately fix your mistakes. You can understand where things went wrong in Wildcard, bring it now into Shopify and correct it. And if that's the result of being, a 5-1 half, I don't even know what you do at Shopify at that point, because you're sitting there, you're watching this game. All that steam, the long, grueling match against M80 is now past you, and you just have to watch a Darkzero that just came off of a win. The vibes are high. They just came off of Nighthaven Labs, and then they just steamroll you this entire map. Surely we got to see some sort of life once we get into that second match.
I mean, we'd like to hope so. I felt like I was watching, it's going to sound bad. I felt like I was watching an SSG match with how aggressive Shopify was trying to be. I mean, that round that I pointed out, I mean, they're in a Shopify Rebellion's in a 3v2 with an Echo drone. There's 20 seconds left. You can stop the player planting. And then what does they do? They double swing, and one of the players double swinging is the Echo. Just doesn't look like Shopify's playing for the objective right now. They're just going for gunfights. Not smart.
Well, and that was SR's map pick. And this is the most surprising thing about the way this whole thing is panned out, because DZ, going into the next map of Lair, they picked Lair. That's the map where Shopify Rebellion beat them in the best of one in the group stage. Lax, in your mind, what is the game plan there from DZ? Is there something that they saw in that matchup that told them, we've got to pick this map, we know what we can do to beat them?
I think they're going to less focusing actually on the fact of Spirits being that spearhead and actually trying to more take advantage of playing a more of a vertical pressure approach, especially on their attacking half. Again, where we really saw SR really exploit DZ was Spirits, using the Echo to thwart off that shield, to double up on that, using the Elemines. Now I think they're going to take a more slower approach to that and understand there is far more ways to get into the building or to just cause chaos for the SR side of things. But again, I mean, we got to see some life, because that match that we just watched, I mean, you can look at the comms right now. It's definitely, not what we're typically used to seeing, especially after the wins from these games. Everyone looks pretty exhausted.
Ambi looks a little lost. I mean, I think there's an element of fatigue, definitely. They were the first game, early start, and then now they have to still play top performance way after the second game to go on. And also with them, when it comes to the maps, I mean, Labs, both teams showed it throughout today. And obviously when it comes to Lair, both teams have previously played it. So I want to give Shopify Rebellion the benefit of the doubt of maybe they weren't taking DZ to the best maps for Shopify and more maps that they know that they're going to be contested on, they know they're going to be good at when it comes to a team like DZ, something they've already shown, something they're not too worried about, because now both teams have qualified. So they're thinking on to greener pastures, but obviously they want to be able to still get that win for Pride. DZ's playing for the Pride right now. Shopify is just looking to maybe humiliate them with the overswings, but they're just not hitting the shots, and we're not seeing adaptations. If you're not hitting the shot, switch it up.
Yeah, there's no pride, there's no passion on that SR side. How do you get it back in such a dire moment?
Honestly, it starts with one player. Yeah. One player to snowball off of. It's not going to come from the entire team out the get-go. One player just absolutely has to ring it in for the rest to rally off of.
All right, map 2. Shopify Rebellion desperate for some kind of answer. Can they rally? Can they bounce back? Lynx and Ali will take us through it to find out.
And hopefully it will be at least a little bit of a longer affair. I mean, obviously, Ollie and I have been up for a bit. We've been watching all the games. We've been invested. That I-80 game, we were getting exhausted just watching it. That's how stressful it was. Shopify might be even more drained than we are, and certainly are more drained than Darkzero are, who exploded into Nighthaven and just never really let their foot off the gas, and certainly never let go of Shopify.
I think for me, there's a question of how much gas have Darkzero got in that tank, because it's going to run out eventually.
Dude, Ambi looks cooked.
Some smiles on the side of DZ. I think Canadian always looks a bit angry with his buzz cut hair. I'm going to be honest. Very clinical look.
True.
I don't know if I could pull it off. Somber faces on the side of SR, and that's, you know, really not what you want going into what could be the final map of the series right here, right now. This is a game that a lot of people had in their sort of bucket list of games for this weekend, right? Everyone was kind of hoping for this big rematch from last year, and it's just not really lived up to it, I'll be honest. Now we move on to Lair, which is a map that SR have played a good deal this stage.
3 times.
So there's a very good chance that we see some counter-striking here from DZ. It was a map that DZ themselves played against SR.
Got
so
counter-stratted.
We're expecting that DZ know exactly what to expect here. Like, surely they're prepped for this. Surely they know what ball is.
You think so? Confident enough to pick? Really? Really?
Social vote, hello?
Really?
There's some copium.
You saw Shopify lose, what, 7-2, 7-3, and 1% of you were like, yeah, that's my team. I like that. Spoit hitting the nastiest shots you've ever seen and walking into a goo mine to lose the 1v1? Yeah.
I tell you what that is. That's DZ fans that have now gone to bed or like gone for dinner or something, because they're like, nah, they've got this in the bag. Like, surely we don't need to bet any more channel points. Like, surely we've got this one in the bag right now.
It's just like...
Make it make sense. We saw the first 50-50 split, and now we see a 51-49 for the team that just got absolutely railed. I don't understand it. Never change.
You know what that was? That was that was dead even people, and then Super going in Twitch chat being like, I believe. I believe in my boys. Oh, that was funny. That was good. That's what I needed to lock back in. Bit of a, I believe, I might be wrong. I think some new bans from Shopify. We have seen them ban the Deimos before. Oh no, these are actually the exact same bans they did against DZ. Never mind. Fuck Deimos.
I really like these two bans. There's so much value in vert play, especially on Lair in general, but especially when it comes to this map. If you can get in underneath and start to displace some of those people, and let's look at players like Surf and Canadian on the Smoke and the Tachanka. If you can displace those two from below, you're going to have a real nice time of things. Now, that's going to be a lot more difficult given that the two primary down-to-up vertical players or vertical operators have been taken out. So DZ are going to have to come up with a bit of a solution for how they want to try and deal with that. Ambi takes loads of damage off the rip. Needs to be cautious on those rocket stairs.
By the way, we saw Darkzero ban Tachanka against Shopify last time, which is interesting. Good ban. Even though we didn't see it banned or played by Shopify in their other 2 Lair games, when the map first came out, one of the first teams that were like playing Lair was Shopify, and they were running a lot of Tachanka. So even though we haven't seen it much this stage, and it was banned 1 game against Shopify and not played in the others, this is something Shopify have done quite a lot on their Lair historically, even if this might technically be the first time we're seeing them bring it this stage.
Good control of Ops Room. The Selma to open up that wall. Spoit playing on Bandit. He was getting a little bit active. He does have a battery in his pocket, so I can only imagine that he's going to be looking to try and trick either of the 2 key walls.
There he is.
can see the util is placed down and ready to go. I'm not sure how much intention there is going to be on getting that open. There are a couple of Selmas here from Citizen, and he's going to have to make good on it.
Ooh.
Like this from Nath, bit of down to up, but on the Ying, it's a less than ideal option.
This smoke on top green can be a really big problem for the attack. Can play both those close angles with the shotgun front and back, and also splitting up the push right there, using the toxic canisters to create a gap between Spirits and the player covering him. Just really, really good stuff from Surf right there. Nath trying to do the work of the Buck or the Damos with the Ying shotgun down below, as you mentioned. Unfortunately for NJR, not able to cut off Surf as he rotates back inside, right next to that breach. One pocket reinforcement for Shopify. They could actually vault in and probably rotate this wall right here, actually. But Pamazoo looking for a pick. Bandit looking to swing. Darkzero struggling for an opening. This would be it. This kill right here might allow them to push into the site. It's instead Citizen on Direxen. Solid 4v4. So many players in the lobby on low HP. Spoit trying to find an angle on that vert, and indeed he lands it onto Nath. Darkzero for feels like a full minute now have been struggling to find a way into this site. Citizen free fire around the corner, surely, but Spoit still lands it. C4 as well! Recovering from that lost 1vx on Nighthaven, Shopify bounce back.
That's why he commands the big bucks. Spoit in a super pressured position for what felt like the entire round. He got lit up inside of Ops Room from the window. Just trying to play a little bit more aggressive inside there and hold a bit of ground early, not just give it away totally for free. That all goes to show, if there was a Deimos or a Buck, he would have been dead to rights in that position. But because it's the Ying, it's just a real less than ideal option. The fact that he hits a great shot onto Nath as well really helps things, but 2 kills from that position and a reposition there to get that kill onto NJR. Great stuff there from Spoit. I tell you what, from going and having one of the worst maps I think I've ever seen Spoit have on Nighthaven Labs, he redeemed himself a little bit in the final round, but again, it was 4 impactless kills. To come out there and to pick up 4 kills in the opening map, in the opening round of Labs, surely that could be a sign.
It's like Gabe said, just need to build off one player. It's not going to happen as a team. It's going to happen from one person, and that could be it. It wasn't exactly like, it wasn't 4K. It wasn't the flashiest 4K. It was kind of a bit of a slow burn, just so much pressure being put on him, and each time he finds a way out of it at the last second. That's still a big play you needed. That's still some bit of momentum.
You kind of get the feeling that if the mental had been different, people would have rallied to Spoit's aid and made it even easier for SR in that round. But because of the current situation that they're in, it's like everybody's scared to just do anything. So you're just like, well, you kind of live your best life, Spoit, get as many kills as you can, and we're going to just dig in and still try and guarantee this round because so much weird stuff has gone on tonight, we can't risk it.
It's understandable. Pretty heavy roam by Shopify. Ambi on the top floor of Scopos, though, of course, can't be in 2 places as once, but about the closest you can get with that op. Can rotate down below, 2 on the mid floor. So Spirit will try to push him. Force the Scopos back up green. Shots landed in the back, but oh, what a pinch! Oh, that's brutal! Knock him on the floor, trade on Direxen too. I have never seen a roamer get bodied that hard by a clear, and yet, oh! Spoit and Canadian both fall. It seemed like maybe they could find a way out. Darkzero saw that momentum gained by Spoit, and they look to snuff out the light the moment it shines.
I like a sandwich as much as the next guy, but a Blackbeard Blitz sandwich? I'm not too keen. You can keep that. Miss me with that kind of sandwich. Take a nice ham salad or a chicken or something like that.
Ambi got messed up.
It's not where you want to be at all.
All right, Surf. There's Blackbeard. You know he's there. Unlucky. Dude, Ambi got messed up. Dude knocked on the floor and they both just started shooting him on the ground. Dude, that was so funny.
It was the fact he genuinely got bodied by the Blackbeard.
And they both,
Like, he turned to run and the Blackbeard's just there. He didn't like bash him down. He just bodied him.
And they both
then
just
it was
ADS
the blitz that bashes him down. It was just awful.
and they both ADS at the same time. Anyway, not to get stuck on that. It's a really solid clear by DZ. They see that one player up top. They just isolate him with the 2 shields. Then obviously you have the middle floor presence. You've stopped Ambi from going back to site, so you know you can cut off those roamers because the one guy who can instantly teleport back is gone. Just really well thought out by DZ.
And as good as the pinch was, MVP for me in it all was still NJR. Because he was there ready
Big
for the
dog.
catch. You saw Wrexham running up the stairs, bang, NJR's there immediately. That's the danger as well with SR, and that's why they need some consistent pop-off or something to build off. Spoit getting 4 kills in round 1's great, but is it really enough? Because DZ have got so much in that mental locker right now. Like, they have been saving up for these bad moments and these times where rounds don't go their way, that they can just pull one of those out of the back pocket and go, boom, we counter it. You know, we're just going to do another well-coordinated quick round and all focus and target on one thing and then start to disperse and pick kills up elsewhere. And it's like the first round never even happened.
No, just reset completely. But NJR, by the way, obviously, highest rated player on Darkzero in that wildcard game, though, trailed ever so slightly by Citizen. Only 3 EPS separating the two. Citizen at 128 and NJR at 131 against wildcard. The most interesting statistic for me, 6-2 on the entry for NJR that series.
Sheesh.
I know. On attack and defense, pretty even effort. But been a fantastic player so far today. Ollie rightly highlighting him. And as you said, implementing that cutoff from Darkzero, really quite impressive. And this is just the unfortunate thing for Shopify is you had the momentum. Now you lose a round. Now you get to stew in it.
Yeah, tech pause at the moment, unfortunately. Not entirely sure what the problem is, but I'm sure we'll get it fixed as soon as possible.
Brief Rex in DC. I believe he's back, though. We're just checking, obviously, to make sure things work, but I believe he's back.
He looks back. Let's give him a moment to acclimatize. Make sure he's fully locked in.
I think it's just acclimate, Ollie.
Acclimate? Acclimatize is a word?
I'm pretty sure it's just acclimate there.
I think that's a bit of an Americanism, you know?
What?
That's not really a word we use in the UK.
It's literally acclimate. Acclimatize is, like, not a word. If you look up... Dude, Ollie, if you look up acclimatize on Google, it just says acclimate.
All right. Everyone in the UK has always used that. I just use it as a word.
Well,
I thought it was a legitimate word.
Well, as we know, if the UK says it, it has to be true.
Oh, okay. Here we go again.
Says the people who can only pronounce O one way. Jow.
Listen, I have an O in my name. I know how to pronounce it.
Owly.
Okay. Mid-floor.
Reset. Mid-floor.
Bit of a reset. I tell you what, that tech couldn't, you know, it might not be a bad thing for SR.
I could go either way, but I see your point.
It's not necessarily a free timeout, but it just gives them a bit of time. You know, I feel like they're just getting swept off their feet at the moment. And any time that they can have where they just can take a moment to breathe, it's going to feel a little bit better.
And you know what we can say? So we got this mid-floor defense, like you mentioned. And this is one of those sites where most teams, the default is just like you play it from the vert. Don't see a solo all that often anymore, but default's you play it from the vert. And Ollie, I think in our experience, maybe you can agree, it feels like the attack, more often than not, actually has a weirdly hard time attacking this site.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we see a lot of confused pushes onto this site, whether it's do we clear top floor, do we try and go for something a bit more direct. Ooh, Rexon taking a bit of damage there from Spirits. Easy again looking to move quickly, and I mean, they're not making any bones about it. They want to clear this top floor.
Oh yeah. Most teams kind of try to ignore it, go for the vert holes, try to deny it that way. Oh, it's a full commit. and Shopify make them regret it. Canadian and Rexon make it a 5v3 for Shopify. Spirits, who's been staring at this Cade for like half the round now. He's trapped 2 of them in the corner. It's only Pambazoo and Spirits left. How things have crumbled, whether or not the tech pause was helpful. Round 3 will recover the momentum for Shopify. Surf looking to hold an off angle. Nade around the corner. Spirit still checks it. Still worried. Can play the trade as one swings around. Nice find by the Cade. Downed and finished off. That's not the important part. Important part is the advantage gained. The control stopped. I almost called a Spoit 1vx ending before it did, so I won't do the same this time, Ollie, but I don't think he's winning this.
I would agree. I think that this is a very different situation that Spirits finds himself in. The defuse is cold. Everybody is rotated back down.
You can hear him coming from a mile away.
Yeah, and he's on the BB.
Okay. They are kind of lined up. Oh, they're all here. Spoit?
Oh my god.
Spoit? Hold on. Okay, he's back. Never mind. That was his one. That was his extra life. We're good now. We're... Troll
Was he a cat?
I mean, literally, he stemmed. I don't know. I do not know why Spoit was swinging there.
You know what's crazy?
What?
That's a round that SR win every single day of the week. But even then, I get nervous for it. Because I don't want to see it happen. You know?
Didn't need to be swinging there.
I'm just like, just lock it in, please. Just guarantee this any which way. Like, run away. I don't care. Just lock it in. Shopify. This is the first time in the series that they have led.
Well,
That's a crazy thing to say.
Technically the second time, because they won the first round.
Okay. But we're in the game now.
Sorry. I just wanted it to reflect the record.
I really enjoy how Spirits finished off. Was it Rexon on the floor there as well? He was just guaranteeing the kill. He was like, I want the kill.
That's mine.
Bomb located by attack.
Spot frag. Thank you. Going back to...
Glaz and the Tachanka.
Yeah, I mean, Tachanka makes sense. Like we said, we saw Canadian... We saw Canadian play it on this top floor. I mentioned that Darkzero banned it last time. M80 also banned it against Shopify as one of their first 2 bans. Darkzero instead letting it slip into the first round. Canadian immediately plays it. They lose. I don't know if the Shimikas were like the reason they lost, but it's a comfort op for Darkzero. One of the main setups they've been running since the map came out, so it makes sense for Darkzero. Glaz is interesting now.
Is it a Spirit-specific thing? I don't think so. He plays a lot of BB on this map. It's not...
NJR's played the Glaz both times on round 1 and 3. It's just ironic, because the both times that we've seen the Glaz, Darkzero lost. Obviously, he's not
I
causal,
like the
but...
Tachanka ban a lot more, I think.
I mean, I think it makes sense. It's like, if the Glaz is one of those things you rely on, I mean, we see a lot of teams, especially recently, I've just been throwing the smokes down to try to fight angles. Oh, that's rough. Shopify don't ban the Blackbeard, and they're like, you don't know why? We just C4 Spirits. Shut him down completely.
It's a great pick from Spoit. Can use his pocket reinforcement on the wall now as well. Means that progress in through ops is going to be a little bit more difficult to come by. Especially in that half of it has been left soft, and not as if you've got a nice little face shield to make a bit of progress behind. Spoit can instead just challenge onto that a little bit and be a bit more aggressive. Rotero drone going to be used to try and open up a bit more of an angle right now. See if Pambazoo can find a little bit more of a way in. There is a drone at his feet right now as well.
Active info. Bit of a difficult spot. This bandit can just swing out around the corner. I don't know what the players are like behind him, what support he has. Might be worried that he's not going to get traded if not reveal his position. Spoit not concerned whatsoever. Just puts the bandit battery down. Not a problem.
I think the FNAT has saved what could have been quite a dangerous slip into the site there. But Spoit obviously knowing its presence, happy to just operate and continue doing what he was doing. But DZ are really knocking on the door of the site at the moment. Don't forget that Tachanka ban, that's a lot of area that isn't going to go denied now. With no Goyo, we've only got the smokes to rely on.
Ooh. This time they do find Spoit. 4K in round one. Rex and oh my god! Just slaps down two of them. Try to get a bit of momentum, increase the pace or the tempo inside of the A site, and they just get knocked to the floor. Nate's like, how about number 3? I'll get my freebie. Darkzero have been struggling for answers on this attacking side. Last time these two teams played, it was only a 2-4 half. There's one. Rex and low as well. A nice pre-fire here. That could be the difference maker. Canadian down 2. A 1v1 for NJR, who's been so clean this whole day. Smoke bolts to block angles. A little bit of time to pick Nate back up. That's what he'll do. Surf to reposition. Lot of ammo, 41 shots. Nafe around the corner can easily find him. Oh, so little time, nothing for NJR to find, and he finds him anyway! Wide in front of that rotate made it easy for NJR to close out. I don't know if that's a tilter, but it sure as hell ain't great.
It was red time. We just needed to stand still. Wait for NJR to start getting the plant down and go up and push him off it. DZ take the timeout. We're living in a very, very strange timeline right now.
The attack wasn't
what
great.
A round. I mean, the attack wasn't going great, let's be honest. Coming down to those fine margins, sure. Maybe we take the tactical timeout and just sharpen a few things up. Let's not let SR back into this mentally. I don't think there's any danger of that after that last round. I've no idea, by the way, how Nath knew there was somebody immediately led prone on the floor. Like, that was some fantastic information.
Got told by our producer, timeout was called at 1v3. So before exec, which I figured, like we said, the round wasn't going
makes
right.
sense.
By the way, I've been added by someone on Twitter, the Merriam-Webster definition for acclimatize. Which
Good, because I've actually got it open on dictionary.com.
Which I still think is silly, because literally the definition of acclimatize is acclimate. But anyway, we're moving on from this topic.
I was going to send it you afterwards. I didn't want to derail again.
No way. They just lost a round when we have no heart breach.
I mean, literally true.
Get him on the desk. Honestly, that's some good insight.
Huge insight. I wasn't even thinking about the heart breach, to be honest with you.
No.
I was still thinking about the BB getting C4'd off rip 30 seconds into the round.
Yeah, opening pick for Shopify that we weren't able to convert on as well. What a weird round, honestly.
What a weird game.
Yeah. It's really not what I was expecting.
There was at least this consistent momentum on Nighthaven, favoring DZ, but still this consistent momentum. This game has been extremely... We had that rapid start, Spoit 4K. And then just this, again, really quick pace, but Darkzero winning in round 2. Then we get these really funky 2 rounds. Not even really a roam clear, just they try to push the top floor, they all just die. Then you have that round, but they don't bring any hard breach, and they just try to direct, and then they all die, but then they win the round in a 1v3 to 1v1. I'm terrified what's going to happen here.
I mean, who knows? At this point, who knows?
Opening kill with 20 seconds left.
Slowest round of siege we've ever seen. I don't think the DZ are capable of that today.
No.
They are far too up for a fight. Very early on, going to start to get this floor opened. Stairs inside a briefing room. Boogie Drone's going to make very short work of that and give Pamba some really nice lines to work with. Spoit's taking a ton of damage as well. Interesting that we've got to round 5 and he's only died twice, by the way.
I mean,
big impact in the rounds that Shopify have been successful in.
Certainly big impact. One of the counters, we've mentioned, I think, a lot about, SR counter-stratting DZ, the ways that manifested. For example, this round, one thing they did was, actually, this mirror window right here. Placed it right at the entrance where normally, I believe it was Nathan Pambazoo entering. But he had a bit more direct of a line of sight on it. Whereas this time, it's a bit more of a passive position, just to hold the realm. hold this bit of map control, not necessarily directly trying to challenge anybody entering that door. And then obviously Darkzero just entered the opposite side of the map. Not even looking to take over here. This actually is going to be the slowest round. I can't believe it.
I think DZ will need to take a little bit of control over there eventually. Don't want to leave a mirror upstairs like unchecked, but I guess it's Ambi that's playing it, so his value really is with the C4.
Pambazu just swung on the vert. Rexon takes that challenge and wins it. Opening kill not coming with 30 seconds left, like I said. Instead, it's 46 seconds left. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. It doesn't seem that Darkzero really have much of a shot at the moment. Shopify are trying to force a plant. They pulled all the way back, even though they have the vert. I don't really see how they win this round. Sure, the smokes are gone, but Rexon and Ambi both have C4s. They're playing the advantage. Yeah, Nath pushes in. Spirits can get that trade, but this is an easy advantage for Shopify to trade down. I doubt Rex and Spoit going to give away their life here, but maybe MGR Citizen can cover. The 2 players low. There's one, but the C4 shuts it down. Exactly what you want. Shopify take it on defense. Another really slow attack from Darkzero. I say another really slow attack. Not really. They've all been quick, but just another round where it never really feels like Darkzero actually get their foot in the door.
It's like if the gap isn't there, DZ kind of hesitate and struggle a little bit. And I don't know if that's entirely true, but the rounds that go like that, you're kind of constantly searching and looking for that gap, and SR just didn't really leave one. Ambi was upstairs playing a bit of a roam game. Everyone else just had a job to do on site and really didn't have to move. Real take your hand off the keyboard angle and just sort of sit and hold your angle.
Yeah, you know what I think?
What, the Canadians' cam's getting blurrier and blurrier as the rounds go on?
I wasn't thinking that. I don't know if this Blackbeard is working all that much.
No, it's not doing too much, is it?
We saw, obviously, that huge play when they were roam clearing basement. But aside from that, which again, as you pointed out, if there's not a gap or not an opportunity, they struggle. That was the one time where it was like, oh, obvious. Go after Ambi on the top floor. Deal with the mid-floor roamers after once you get the advantage. Beyond that, it's just been Shopify playing really close together. Not really putting anybody too far away. And even when Ambi was roaming on the mid-floor, just then they didn't care. I kind of just feel like, maybe we got a Ying on the board. We got Grim available. We got Capitao. Dokkaebi. It's not that the options they're bringing are bad. We got a lot of stuff on the board, and we just keep running this Blackbeard, and I never really feel like it's getting a lot of impact.
It did get open and picked a couple of rounds ago, so we didn't necessarily see the full level of impact. This time, it's certainly going to have some, though. Adrenal Surge, Spirits rushing through.
Here we go. Nade around the corner. Citizen will find Surf. It's an even trade. And again, this Blackbeard not quite having the impact. Shopify extremely quick to react. Smoke directly in Spirits' way. It burns a lot of utility from Canadian. They've still got control of Skybridge. And with the warning going down, there's not really anybody on the opposite team that's going to affect this. That's the benefit of Darkzero not running this Ying. You lose the warden, I don't really care. It's fine.
I do think to a degree that Canadian got very lucky the smoke kind of bounced off the corner of the wall, because Spirits was ready to sort of run past and through that. That's an oldie but a goldie. C4 on the top of the door just in case you get pushed. It really is a last-ditch attempt right now.
Oh, the trades are crazy. Here we go. Pocket reinforce?
Where's the
Doesn't seem
pace?
like it. That's what I mean. I don't really... I mean, you got to give them credit. Shopify been playing like very solid trades on their side. Throwing all the utility they can, burning a lot of time. Very weird pace.
This is the time for DZ to put the foot down a little bit and just go, all right, we've got it now. And it feels like we're double droning. Pamba's going to be able to call that as clear now, sure, and we should start to see a little bit of a push-up. But SR are really well positioned right now. Spoit and Ambi, both ready for an on-contact trade. Rexon just keeping an eye on backside things.
And Darkzero are still lacking a lot of these ops. You don't have any Yings or Grims or Capitals, nothing to make this better. Nothing to disrupt this setup at all. Flash goes in deep, and Ambi's still holding it. Spirits can calm this, but there's literally somebody holding that angle. He just walks right into it, back exposed. It's the easiest kill Rex and Spoit have ever set up. Nath does fry Ambi off the face of the earth, and it is just a raw 2v2. One that Darkzero could win, another round that it seems they were destined to lose. Struggling for momentum, low on time. Shopify with better positions and Pamba with it all to do, all to cover. Rexon looking to swing instead, Nath falls off, doesn't get the kill. And another one lost on time, 2 in a row. Shopify, same start as their group stage Lair game against DZ, and they end it the exact same way.
I know that hindsight is very good, but I don't think that Nath comes off the plant there. I kind of feel like if he gets it down...
He's got to trust Pamba.
Yeah, those defenders are really split up. There was no way that anyone was going to be able to get the kill onto him. Pamba's got one door to watch, essentially. Like, you kind of don't worry about the guy in A site. Shopify with a 4-2 lead, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's still a very close game, but I don't know. Something about DZ's attacks, like we kind of questioned they're going to run out of gas at some point. It feels like they've run out of it on their attacks. Like they need to put in a bit of a shift here on the defense.
So, like, and I really do want to highlight a bit how strange it really feels these Darkzero attacks were. The bans from Shopify were basically the exact same, except instead of Dokkaebi, they banned Glaz. In the previous Shopify game, which to be fair, you know, they did lose and they only did win 2 attacks. But we saw in round 1, Spirits on the Blackbeard, but Sens and Grim with him. Round 2 of that game, we saw a Capital. Round 3, Dokkaebi. Round 4, Sens again. Ying's the final 2 rounds of that half. And again, you know, it's still a 2-4 Darkzero attacking half. Wasn't a better scoreline than this. But when you see the problems on that attacking half, extremely slow pace, really struggling to disrupt Shopify's pre-existing setup, even if it was the same scoreline, I'm looking at the lineup they ran against DZ previously, and I'm like, man, I kind of wish I saw more of that.
I've got a feeling that you will see a little bit more of that, but on the Shopify side of things.
Oh, of course.
Because as we've spoken about, they are huge proponents of Sense, Rora, interesting operators that enable certain pushes and different plays. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think the way that Shopify see the game is very different to a lot of the ways that other teams are seeing it, and I think that they are kind of cutting edge in a lot of ways with the way that they bring and utilize some of these ops. So I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of that here and now. Regardless of their current mental state, we know that this is a team that can attack Lair. And if they've got it in them, hell, if they take this to a 3rd map, who knows where we go for Chalet. Who knows who comes out on top. It's a very long day for both teams at that point, even longer for Shopify. But it doesn't feel beyond the realm of possibility right now.
No, it doesn't. This is not their pick, but it is a map they have beat Darkzero before. 4-2 have to start, 3-3, close it out 7-5 in the group stage. They can do it. Recovering the momentum lost from that Nighthaven game, it is within their grasp. Not immediately. There's work to be done, but they can do it. Surf with the shotgun going in. Just a little offside pressure. Open up this hole, create the long angle. Shopify still just trying to diversify. Get a lot of options, as many as they can, to rotate later, but still util to clear.
That BP didn't get cleared either with that Gon 6. That still gives Nath something to work from here. Buddied up with Spirits at the moment at the top of these rocket stairs. The Roar doors go in. Ambi opens things up.
Oh.
Could be about to see something here from Shopify. They're definitely setting themselves up for it.
Indeed they are. Ambi single-handedly dispatches the top rocket hold. I imagine a counter strat for Darkzero. Normally we see Canadian like to slowly walk up with a shield. They stack it with ADSs and shields. And then Ambi just swings both of them with a revolver. Dismantles it entirely. We've highlighted execute utility, not even a lot used there, but the Candelas and smokes going out now. Looking to barrel into NJR, so Pamba will look to support. But the flames and the DMR, the smokes, a lethal trifecta, dealing with NJR quite effectively. So Citizen rotates back, try to get this crossfire. It's all through one doorway right now for Shopify, and they aren't long on time. But Canadian is able to move in, Ambi still locking things down. Rexon still holding these hard angles. That is what we needed. The first half might be the lead, but a win out the gate, a 5-2. This is what Shopify need to get their heads back in it.
Big wake-up call time for Darkzero as well, I think. It almost feels to a degree like they're still dining out on that real dominant win over on Nighthaven Labs, but this is a best of 3. You got to perform in every map that is put in front of you. And slowly but surely, Shopify feels like they're a journeyman at this point. They have taken an absolute hammering, but they're still on the feet. They're still swinging, and they're still chalking rounds up. On the face of it, a fairly straightforward take. Rorador's used to just zone off some of the defenders. Canadian successful on his push-up through rocket stairs as well. That's a position that typically you would see him push up with on a Monty.
Or Black.
Didn't really slow him down, him having to do it on the Capitao.
5 seconds to insert.
That's actually like, we talked about it. That's actually so crazy. They like full counter strat at the position to stop Canadian walking up, and then Ambi just shot both of them. That is shield.
And everything.
Literally everything. 2 people, every ADS, a deployable shield. Canadian didn't even kill any of them. He just called Ambi over. He was like, I just deal with it. And he did. Good work from Ambi. There's Mick calls him Spoitify Ambillion.
I feel like we've not seen anywhere near enough Goyo today. We've seen it like 3 times in the previous map and this one.
Even if we have, it just hasn't feel like the Vulcan packs have really done a lot of, like, had a lot of impact.
I feel like they had loads of impact when we saw these two play in the stage. I don't know, it's a weird one. Pamba's going to be playing Goyo this time. That's kind of what jogs my memory on it. Wonder if they will have a better impact inside of this round. We know Shopify is very plant-focused, but we also know that their pacing is good on the attack, so little bits and bats of utility here and there shouldn't be too much to deal with. We have a couple of nades from Rexon. And of course, the Rotero drones on the Flores that Ambi's bringing. So all those things ought really to be dealt with. There is quite a lot of barbed wire and a deployable shield to get through as well, though. So Rotero drones are going to be spread amongst those things.
Taking a while, though. Minute 40 seconds spent. Dogobi call goes in. I was going to say, it seems like we're setting up for a direct. They've seen these roamers on the top floor. Maybe not necessarily a direct completely. Obviously, we have Rexon and Surf up there, but a bit of distraction. They pressure the roamers up top, then move into the site itself. Surf will rotate out. It's another reset, though.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing at this point, though.
Maybe not. I mean, Surf does get another one. We've still got 3 in sight. And Nave's not really going to be able to be on these yokais with attackers swarming all around him. He's able to find one, but it's immediately traded. The reset's working out. A very slow pace, but it's just care from DZ, making sure they don't leave anything uncovered. Citizen will try his best, but Spoit flicks around. That's the energy we needed to see. Impressed with himself, Ego back in action. Shopify playing at their own pace, playing their own game. Smiles on both sides, but it's Shopify on match point.
I'll be honest, there was a point in this series when I didn't think that we will be saying that. But for Shopify to be on a map point here on Lair, that really puts DZ's backs up against the wall. They've already used their tactical timeout. They used it during their attacks because, let's be honest, DZ's attacks weren't really going their way either. But they are yet to find success here on the defense. Shopify happy to pretty much dismantle everything that's put in their way. That is a disgusting shot.
Oh my god.
No wonder he's happy with himself.
I would be too.
No, you'd never hit a shot like that. I've played Ranky with you.
All right.
I just look.
All right. Call the person on player cams in. I'm done. Get out. I'm getting out.
6-2.
I've had it.
Are DZ capable of winning flawless rounds here?
I gotta say, Ollie, before we continue, I just want to put it on the record. This has been a weird-ass series.
So, I think that I'm like the Night Haven lads. I'm kind of over it now. It just is what it is. Everyone's entitled to a bad map in a best of 3. The Lair game has been very weird. It's been a very strange game of Siege. I don't know what it is. I've got an underlying feeling that both these teams are playing somewhat reserved on this map.
I'm out. Gotta reload.
I don't know.
Because I do find it hard to believe the sort of, not the drop-off that Darkzero have experienced, but how they've gone from being so dominant to kind of this. It just feels like something's off.
It feels like they've not even really been a factor in these rounds. Struggling to make any progress in the attacks, which, I mean, Darkzero not playing super aggressive. They're not giving them the openings they done on Night Haven, but not really bringing any of the ops available on their attacking side. Ops that Shopify weren't even preemptively countering. We only saw a Warden once. We saw a Ying once early in the round. I mean, that's crazy. Pamazu just finds 2. I don't even know how the hell he did that. Like...
Might not be done. Rex and super low as well. He's one shot right now.
This is just what
Have
I
you
mean,
even seen
though.
any top floor presence at all? Like, Ambi's still knocking on the door of Ops room.
No. Pamazu just swings out a rocket, finds 2 people, then walks back into sight, and it's like it didn't even happen. He was like, all right, well, 4v3, I guess.
There's a lot of time here for Shopify. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to reset. Like, Ambi's just placed another air job out there. Utility is going to be the big thing that's lacking at the moment.
Yeah. Here we go. Smoke in, try to breach the wall, create a position to defuse. Rare time where Spoit finds himself putting the diffuser down, but smoke goes out, and he'll have to back off. NGR's got 2 more of those. Ooh, Nath tagged up quite heavily through the smoke. Darkzero, hold on. Hold on firm, in fact. Okay, Citizens just shot Pamazu, and Ambi's got the next one. Both smokes gone. This is a 1v2. This is winnable. 1v1 right there. All right, shocking around the corner. Why did Citizen just one-tap Panba?
No, I think Bamba's asking himself the exact same question.
He just one-shot Panba.
Like, what did I ever do to you,
Why?
Citizen?
It was like dead quiet. Citizen, to be right, I think it was a 2-tap, to be fair. I see her pop, pop. Just Pamba die.
It just sums this series up, though, because it was one of those really weird positions where it's like 4 versus 2, 4 versus 1. Nath gets the kill to make it 4v1. Then immediately Nath gets fried. And then you see Citizen 2-tap Pamba, and then it's 1v2. And you're like, how have we gotten here again? It was 4 versus 1 like 2 seconds ago.
This is just so... This is such... Like, it's such a weird map, and I can't... I mean, I can tell you why for the first half. I think just because of the pace. It just felt like Darkzero were never really making any progress at all. But it just feels so weird. Maybe it's because it's late and you and I are getting loopy. I don't know. It just feels like the map hasn't even happened. Does that make sense? Am I going insane?
I think you're going insane. I think you are
I'm going a little
disassociating. I think you're still disassociating from the goo mine.
That's actually true. I think we entered a parallel universe when Spoit walked into that goo mine, and I just fully lost my grip on reality.
Listen, if Spoit's managed to brush it off and go 12-3 right now,
I'm still there.
like you've got to still. You need to snap out of it. How has he only died 3 times?
12-3, great game. Great game for Spoit. Those, you know, 4K in round 1, then 3K in round 8.
Has he literally only died in the rounds that DZ have won?
That might be correct, actually.
That's actually wild.
Yes, that is correct. Well, maybe not like exactly, but averaged out, yes.
Yeah, that is unbelievable.
Rexon also 12 and 5. Got to give him credit.
Yeah,
Had
sure.
a really, really poor map 1, but then again, so did everyone. But today's been a really big day from him. One of the highest rated players in that M80 game earlier. In fact, if we want to go check. Second highest behind Sploit, but still really, really strong performance. Bit of a switch-up ollie. He was Canadian on the Capital last time. He's thrown that over to Surf, and we got the Ying coming into play.
Yeah, we've also got the Sens instead of the Rora. So SR going to go for one of their more tried and true. I mean, DZ have banned the glass, so it does make it a little bit more difficult for that sort of shock and awe factor and adding the Sense Wall and the smoke in there and everything that goes along with that. But I think realistically, you can still get it down. Glaz and Sense, whilst a good match, it's not always crucial. The Glaz not having great visibility through that Sense ROU, so I think a lot of this hinges on Canadian. If he's able to have the same success on the way up Rocket Stairs, we'll probably see the round go a similar way. It's not only the Ying that Nathan needs to worry about, though, it's just the general flashes. Ambi stacked up on those stairs as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It wasn't Canadian doing it. It was Ambi completely opening the round on top Rocket. Just 3 rounds ago to start this half, it was the revolver that time, the AK this go around, and he's acquired that same bit of important control for Shopify to get a foothold in this round. Spotted on the vert below, opportunity escapes Pamazoo. Katie will fall down soon after. Pamazoo just holding on to top ops, feels the game slipping out of his hands. He's got to get active, got to make a play. Was that the one he should have made? I don't know. He'll be kicking himself for it now. NGR looking to rotate to the off spot. Citizen trying to swing first. Can't play off the contact here. Can't play the trade. Somebody's got to go big. Somebody has to overperform. It'll be NGR to start. Nice little flank cutoff, even in the 4v2. Surf not letting any gap go unfilled. Any hole go unnoticed. So NJR, with it all to do, will not do a damn thing. 7-3 on map 2. Shopify is allergic to dominant victories, and they will put us to map number 3.
We're going to see some smiles on the player cams this time from Shopify Rebellion. And they can now breathe a very small sigh of relief. It is going to be a very long day for them indeed. Both of their series going all 3 maps. Okay, we've not played the most amount of rounds on Labs or Lair so far, but we've still got Chalet as a decider, and it feels like a while since we've seen these players smile. We're getting all 3 maps again in our upper bracket final, and we're going to throw it over to our desk, who are going to set us up for our 3rd and final map.
Well, a lot of uncertainty here in this matchup, but if there's one thing we know for sure, it is that Shopify Rebellion are not going to go down without a fight. It is 7-3 to close it out on the second map. We go to map 3, 8 of 9 on the day here in just a moment. It's been a long day, and you got to imagine, just the way we've been looking at these teams, stamina plays a role at this stage in the game.
I mean, wow. I mean, like, can you believe that? Shopify Rebellion gets smoked on map 1, come out map 2, and completely turn the tables. I mean, who would have seen that coming, obviously, especially with how down they looked after that first map. To be able to keep that resilience, the energy, to stay invested, and to be able to shut down Darkzero, and they're doing a great job. Also, Darkzero has not really been running the same amount of like shields that are as oppressive of a shield on Spirits that we've been seeing. It feels like they've kind of got quieted down. A little bit of the confidence has been shook when it comes to playing those aggressive shields against Shopify Rebellion. And Shopify Rebellion, I mean, they were doing really good. I mean, everyone on the team was really shooting.
Well, you guys said it last time before we got into this game. How could they bounce back? What was that thing they needed? Lax, you said rally around one specific player. That player this map was Spoit.
Yeah, I'm glad we can highlight him again. Obviously, we saw what he did on Border, and they really need him to come alive here. Again, you know, you asked me, when you're down in this situation, what do you do as a team? How do you fight back? Like I said, it starts off one player being able to have a pop-out performance that everyone rallies off of, and that player is Spoit. Everyone is doubling off of what Spoit is doing, backing him up, understanding, okay, guys, we aren't out of this. We're still in this fight. If Spoit can keep us going, why can't we keep ourselves? So everyone starts holding each other accountable. We talk about that energy. At the beginning of that game, that energy that we just saw from Spoit was not there.
Nowhere to be found.
He was not launching himself back from the chair, mouth wide open, screaming at his team. And again, a 13-3 performance. That's exactly what SR needed to rally the troops, to get everyone back wide awake, open their eyes, focus on the job and the task that's in front of them. And because of that, they dominate DZ going into that map. Now we're going to go into Series 3, map 3, and see what that looks like, where they have now the momentum.
Yeah, I mean, you need that catalyst to be able to wake everybody up. Somebody that's going to be getting big rounds. Yes, it's a team effort at the end of the day, but still, when you have one player who's overperforming round after round, I believe it was round 2, he got that insane 4K.
Yeah.
So obviously, when you have a player who's just outperforming, winning a round for you, getting lively, it just strikes energy into everybody else, makes everybody, all the wheels turning, and obviously, I mean, they know they have good problem solving, but when you have a player that's shooting everybody in front of you, it makes problem solving for Canadian that much easier. And especially going into Chalet, it's a very aggressive-sided map, and we were talking about behind the scenes, which team has the more aggressive-sided players? Shopify Rebellion. That's going to come down to it, in my opinion, is the fact that they will just be able to outperform because they have the energy, because they have the momentum against Darkzero.
Well, when you look at Nighthaven Labs, for example, DZ came off a hot Nighthaven Labs, so kind of paints that picture. But then you look at Chalet today, they can right their wrongs, they can understand where things went wrong, and that's where we said they didn't have the shield play going into that Chalet previously from today. So now I can only imagine, with all the energy, with the composure being there, we start to see that shield gameplay, and then we see that aggression that you're talking about that's going to follow up behind that aggression that is then going to hopefully carry the Chalet for Shopify.
I feel like both these teams have made it as hard as possible on each other, going from map to map. They're going like, all right, we're going to get blown out on this map. Now DC's, all right, we're going to get completely blown out on this one. Feels like, just for the story,
Oh, we're going to get an overtime.
that we're going to get an overtime map on map 3. It just has to happen, Fox.
No, absolutely. I mean, we're definitely going to, I'm believing that we're going to get an overtime just because Darkzero, I mean, they're playing for pride. I feel like every time they go up against Canadian, it's a matter of a statement to be able to say, like, we don't need you. We didn't need you. This was the right decision. And obviously for SR, for them, they would just want to be first. They want to be the best team in North America. And pride is one of the biggest things that Canadian plays for. And the energy that we saw in map 2 is what is fueling them going into map 3. So obviously, at the end of the day, I mean, both teams, it's not going to be an easy fight for either one of them, but I think Shopify Rebellion is going to take it just because they have the more aggressive teams. I mean, you can't really hold angles, Darkzero, on a map like Chalet.
At the start of this series, it was very clear that both teams were like, all right, we've already got the top 4. That was the mission. Now, though, they have to shift to the other goal, SI points, the extra cash you get at the end of the stage. But you guys said it, pride is a big factor here. These two teams have been rivals under these organizations, under different organizations, for such a long time. These players want to win this game, Lax. You got to think it fires you up as you go to the final map of the night.
Well, again, I mean, we already saw one side where Darkzero just completely dominated Shopify. All of Shopify looked dead. Then you immediately go and transition to the next map. Then all of Shopify just wakes up and they dominate DZ. Now it's a matter of we're going to see both teams, hopefully same energy coming out again. And now it's going to be on Darkzero to find that one player that then everyone can rally behind. And hopefully, like you guys were saying, we can then see in overtime and really see who is the best. Because right now, we're just seeing who's better at the other's map.
All right, final thing before we get into this game. Let's talk predictions. Let's get specific about Chalet. Of course, we had a split prediction on the series as a whole. Fox, give me... Oh,
I was going to say, if you're Darkzero, you get rid of those shields because you already saw...
He's raising his hand.
You already saw how crippling it was when Shopify was not able to use those shields when they just recently played Chalet.
That's a good point, but it is Chalet. I mean, the shields can have a lot of power when it comes to that map, but it really comes down to the aggression and to the roam. And Shopify just has those aspects a little bit better than Darkzero. Shopify? We're mixing up matches. It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Shopify, Chalet, roam game. We see another Spoit big game on the roam, and you know Shopify's already won Chalet once this stage. So I don't know. I'm giving it to Shopify.
All right. Anything can happen. That much is certain. We go to map 3. Who knows what to expect for the final time today? We'll go down to Lynx and Ollie as we get into the final map of the night.
Thank you, Jonah. It has been a long day, and it's been a bit of a weird series. As the desk pointed out, extremely one-sided game on Nighthaven. Not as close as the wildcard game was. Then not even close, even more dominant for Shopify than it was when these teams last played on Lair. Both teams losing their map pick. Now we're going to Chalet, which we've not seen DZ play a single time, Ollie.
We haven't, and you kind of got to wonder, why are we here? A little bit. Obviously, it's a best of 3. Your map pool is a little bit more diminished inside of a best of 3, but we haven't seen DZ bring this map out during the regular stage. We have, of course, seen Shopify Rebellion play it, albeit only a few hours ago, against M80. It was the only map in that series that M80 won, despite the other 2 maps going to max at overtime. So again, left with a little bit of a question. The social vote again. Like, are we just backing the team that lost the previous map?
Like,
what's going on?
Is this a prank? Are we getting trolled?
I'm waiting for Punk to walk through the door.
What are you talking about?
Oh my god, you don't know what that is.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It was a show on MTV back in the day, like where I've
not watched a single second of MTV in my life.
Oh, you missed out. I'm sure somebody will know what that is. Let's have a look at the bans as we move now into Chalet. Glaz and a Clash. So we have the Glaz Ying, and then we have the Castle Clash, both removed. Clash seeming to be a little bit of a mainstay ban for DZ here, not wanting to give Canadian that amount of room to move around. Both the Ying and the Glaz removed as well. Still plenty of options here for Darkzero on their attacks, but it's going to be Shopify Rebellion starting us off on a top floor defense here. Now, cast your mind back to what feels like an eternity ago at the start of the day when we saw M80 play this map against SR. Key takeaways from it.
Oh, is that a question?
You got any? Have you got any?
Sorry. Yes, I do, actually. Shopify, well, I have a few takeaways, actually. One, in that particular game, the big problem with Shopify were their attacks. Which, not that they were necessarily bad, but as the desk mentioned, they, 1, struggled with the lack of shields, and 2, M80 were abusing Cade Tubarao, Jaeger Ramai, really a lot of Tubarao, but Cade Tubarao on a couple sites. Just any amount of stall, and basically they'd get an opening pick and just like immediately fall back, or just not even peek at all in the early round. And Shopify were struggling to deal with all the utility. Obviously, they're starting on the defense, which was Shopify's better side. Second take, for some reason, it feels like not a single team in this league can attack this map well right now. Even in that OXG game, which Shopify did win, I believe the majority of their attacks, they won 4. One was a Spoit 3K on bar to save a top floor clear that seemed destined for failure. A very late round, Spoit hit one of the craziest headshots I've ever seen with a revolver to open it up, and then a Spoit 1v2. Even in that game where Shopify won 4 attacks, it didn't look great. But again, that's for another side. Well, all I'm saying is the defenses seem to be the better side in Chalet right now, no matter who's playing. And that's my rant done. That's my take.
No, I think that's something that a lot of people can agree with, I think. But on the bright side, we haven't seen Darkzero play at this stage, so maybe, just maybe, they are going to be a team that has a good handle on it. They've at least been able to get an opening pick in this round onto Canadian. We're going to send the Bees in now through Solar as well. Some good info getting gathered right now on the drone from Spirits, but it isn't going to get past that master bedroom door. Should be able to hop in, though, because we've got nobody playing on those solar stairs. There is going to be a bathroom player. And I'm sure that DZ are aware of that. Surf just going to be tucked right into the tub at the moment. Actually got a deployable to play with as well.
Love this from DZ, though. Not trying to overcomplicate things. Citizen also just checking all the boxes, making sure that the Blackbeard actually can hop in. Now rotates up to master bedroom. We've seen this ROU projector quite a bit across regions now, just trying to block the Ivy swing so the bathroom player feels more comfortable. We've also seen how difficult of a position that bedroom window angle can be on Repel. Nade goes out to try to force Ambi off. He'll survive for the time being. Citizen proving to be the better player on that angle. Dropping down again. It is rotation central for DZ. Hopping back and forth everywhere, and now their sights are trained on Surf behind the bathroom shield. Blackbeard just around the corner. Ambi will try to add another dimension to this crossfire and this hold as utility pours into bathroom. We got bees, we got track stingers, we got nades. And we got a Jaeger filled with shrapnel and lead. What a shot by Spoit. Nath making it easy on him. Perfectly framed in the middle of that window frame. And yet I don't think it'll matter all that much. Ambi will get one, Spoit with another. We've seen some miracles and some ones killed in the crib for Spoit. He's got to kill the player on Repel, and he's not even going to pay attention to it. Darkzero with the first attack. Will they struggle like so many teams have on this side, despite the map's construction? Certainly not going to trip them up in round one.
I really like that from DZ. I think they did a good job. So much energy and focus going into removing Surf. And honestly, it kind of feels like they did it the most efficient way possible. Like, Surf was playing in a real bad corner there. He had the deployable shield, but as soon as those ADSs get burnt, as soon as the nades and the gridlock track stingers come through, there is not a lot that he can do. No real place to go. Spoit tried to support him, but it was just a bit too little too late. Losing that man early on, a Canadian dying to the nade, it was a real detriment. Weirdly, 2 nade kills in a single round, not something that you see all too often, especially now that nades are no longer cookable. You, of course, just have to throw them and wait for them to explode. You can parkour them off various things and have ways where you can gain a few seconds, but it's not like you can cook a nade and throw it like we could back in the good old days, so not something that you see all too often. But DZ having a really good information game there. And stunning SR into their site rotation now. Not going to give that top floor another go. Instead, going to take us downstairs to the basement and look to try and extend a little bit in and around the map. We've got Rexon looking for a little bit of a spawn peak opportunity inside a library. There's a lot of renovation done in that library as well. Some utility getting placed in and around the area as well. We've got Ambi on Oryx. Always good for a quick rotation.
Fast stop in the game.
There could be some pretty sizable gaps right now.
Yeah. That is a bit of a possibility. It's also, you sometimes see this weird minigame develop where if Ambi's playing on the bottom floor, we see teams look at it, then everybody rotates down and everybody's fighting on the bottom floor, but it doesn't seem to be how Darkzero are looking to play this with the Blitz stationed right outside of library, or excuse me, right outside of bathroom early on, which Rexon will notice and will call. So that's important information that will cause Ambi to start rotating up Solar. And it might not see Snowmobile fought over. It might be the Solar Master Bedroom office side. It sees a lot of action early on. Kamizu also stationed outside of the office balcony window. Citizen on the cut. Will separate Ambi and Rexon for the time being. The attack so concerned about fighting these defenders. Rexon will reveal his position, yet nobody really in a position to cut. Ambi finding one will slip into the night. Spirits! Turns his back. That's Spoit, the other T5. Not even Ambi that gets him. And in a matter of seconds. Not even plural. That's an accurate blink of the eye. Snap of the fingers. It's now Darkzero in the lead.
DZ picking up 3 lightning kills there to keep him in this round. It's spent quite a good portion trying to search out for those roamers on the top floor. Eventually, they've completed that task and gone one better. Getting caught out in the FNAT, though, on the stairs on Library and Canadian, just with a nice little pop-up, ready for a second. Levels it out. That could be a huge kill.
Ooh.
Still a time advantage, but man count being even. Not too much really to work with here. A lion and an ace for an execute.
No. Not much. They also know Canadians on blue stairs, so they make the call. They know it's a 1v2 on site. They get the other one. They know Surf is somewhere here based off the info, the Toxic Babes, everything. They don't have the exact position, but they know it's safe enough to go for a plant. Kamizu can have this cut off, force Surf back. It's an easy defuse plant, not an easy kill though. It's a 1v1. He wraps around. But that's not a shotgun engagement. That's not a shotgun engagement whatsoever. 2 in a row for Darkzero. Bit closer, but the same result.
Again, another really good round from DZ. I think they did a good job of stabilizing there. They did spend a while on that roam clear, but it paid off in the end. They were able to pick up 2 kills on the roamers, and they get the kill over onto Spoit. Spirits had some hella unfortunate timing. I don't even know how he got there, by the way, because the trench door was closed. So has he run through Big Garage and like sort of turned his back, or I don't know how you end up there, because he was kind of facing the bottom of West Main. Looked really weird. Really bad timing on it. And again, sort of adds fuel to the fire of our questioning of Spirits on these shields and the impact that he's really having inside of the round. But a great job of stabilizing from both Pamba and Citizen. Not really many options there in the dying few seconds. With that plant going down,
10 seconds left.
pretty much always going to go Citizen's way. He's got a nasty DMR there.
5 seconds
And,
left.
of course, an ability to throw a Lion Skin up. I think he still maybe had one available as well.
Attackers are heading out to defuse
So
the
much
bomb.
focus on that roam clear, though, for DZ. Brought the Lion, and they brought the Dokkaebi. Really trying to nail down those roamers on Shopify. This time, just the Lion. Instead, opting for a few more tools for their tool belt.
Reloading.
But you still know that that focus is going to be the same.
Something I want to mention again. I'm not the biggest map stats Andy, but I do think a Chalet, again, it's something I want to bring up, because it just, if you talk to anybody, and for years it's been the case, this map is attacker-sided. And yet, only 2 times this stage has a team managed to get 4 rounds. Shopify against OXG, and then Cloud9 against OXG as well. Only 3 other times this stage, out of over a dozen plays, have teams even managed to get more than 3 rounds. And in one of those occasions, it was a 3-8. Teams are just not winning attacks this stage, and if DZ can break that trend, run up the scoreboard as so few teams have been able to do on this side, they will find themselves in elite company on a map that they are just bringing out for the first time this stage, applying a lot of pressure Solar side at the moment, forcing these defenders back to try to establish this beachhead against the onslaught of utility, the inevitable counter. And fire exchanged by Shopify's defense. Spirits will make it in. Citizen just overhead, looking to pinch out this Warden. It's tight, and he just gets shut down. Surf maybe lagging a bit in the process, but it's Shopify with the advantage.
Again, another example of this Blackbeard or Shield play just not quite working out for DZ at the moment. They have been able to clear out a little bit of top floor, but it's not as extensive as you would like it to be. Gonna look to try and remove this BP inside of sight, starve a little bit of information. Rexon just flicking onto it at the last second. Fortunate DC for Surf in this, leveling it up to a 3v3, excuse me. The diffuser recovered. Potential now to start trying to work in and get a plant down. Canadians all the way over inside a bar. Looking to maybe hold a really long angle. But he's on the dock. There's no real denial here. And I think as soon as DZ get that info, they're going to try and work it. What a shot from NJR. That has to be the trigger right now.
From downtown, and indeed it is, going in to put it down. Easy trade. That DC looking hella impactful. Not if Ambi has anything to say about it. Cold as ice. God intervened, and Ambi says no. DC or not. Shopify take there first.
Who else other than Ambi to pull Shopify out of a dark place? It was Spoit back on Lair. Could it be Ambi's turn here on Chalet? Maybe, just maybe. Still DZ with the lead. I believe we still need to get Surf back into the lobby, but it isn't going to slow us down on our bans. Really intrigued to see the Jaeger ban come out there. It was a comment that I was going to make. Now it's kind of pointless, but I think it's still worth saying. In the first few rounds that we saw this game play out, we saw no Jaeger on those trophy stairs. We saw no Jaeger inside a Solarium. That's usually and typically a position that has grown in popularity. Now that Jaeger can soak up the Capital bolts as well on the ADSs, you play a Jaeger on those stairs. It's a little bit more old school way of holding things. Now there are ways and means around it, and it is by no means perfect, but it can be a nice little sponge to soak up a lot of utility.
Well,
even though SR haven't played it yet, DZ still feel it worth removing, or at least haven't played it in that position, should I say.
whoa.
DZ still feeling that it is worth removing here.
On that point, building off of that, it's not really an op that that Shopify have played in any of their defenses. They didn't play it a single time in the OXG game. They only played it once in the M80 game. On Match Debate in Office, but not an op they played whatsoever. So DZ clearly concerned it might be an adaptation, which, to be fair, Darkzero have been running a lot of solar takes. So, like, I get why they might want to preempt that. Something we've not seen, though, in this map so far is actually a mainstay of Shopify's defensive lineup, it seems, which is the Maestro. Canadian has been playing a lot of that op across multiple sites. Well, mainly when kitchen dining or master bedroom hold is involved, whether one is the site or the other. Canadian played that 3 times in the M80 game and 2 times on kitchen dining and master bedroom against OXG. Maybe reading that Darkzero will be ready for it. Not run Maestro a single time so far this game, I believe. Oof. Oh. It's a nice one.
Ambi looked like he jumped out of his chair then. He kind of like readjusted himself and got back into his pause.
He was shocked by it.
I wonder if it was like a little jump scare or something that just like appears out of nowhere. Good start for Shopify. Ambi on the boss G, that's a dangerous proposition right there.
Oh.
Citizen just looking at trying to cut through into the site. He's going to find himself a second. Hello?
He's killed Blitz?
Somebody stop him.
Really wish he put an RU projector at Ivy window, huh? Thinkaboost goes, oh my god, he's on a tear. Round. Oh, it's a serious Spotify Ambillion round. It's Jover. Flawless.
Yeah. Just go next.
Jesus Christ. Where were you when Ambi took over?
Never mind banning the Jaeger, ban the Vigil. Let him have that boss G.
By the way, not about Ambi. How about that ROU projector to cut off the roam? What do you think of that?
I can't tell if you're trolling on that.
It is literally, it's a genuine question.
I didn't like it. It wasn't for me.
I get the idea, I guess. I also think to be fair,
I would have maybe liked it if we'd have still had the blitz.
I was gonna say, like, we have to acknowledge, that was likely setting up a bathroom rush to stop them from being able to, like, support. I mean, I imagine NGR probably runs up right out of bathroom and then into bedroom. Or rushes into piano. But yeah, we literally saw him get dumped by a boss G, so it's like, what the hell are you gonna do, you know?
I think I would have liked to see it in its entirety and not like the Temu Wish version.
Well, it's, you know, it's a shame we won't see it this half.
5 seconds to insertion.
2 rounds apiece.
We won't see it again.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
From quite swingy games, you know, 7-2, 7-3, fairly decisive games on either side for both of these two teams.
2-0, 2-2.
There is a very big danger that we enter a very, or not danger, but a possibility that we enter a big back and forth right now. Neither one able to break free from a round or so's advantage either way. DZ not with many more opportunities on this attacking side to impress you, Lynx. I mean, are you impressed at the moment?
Their first 2 rounds, yeah, I really liked what they did. You know, the bar gaming round was a bit close, but they had some good mid-rounding. Rotating down to the bottom floor, counting the remaining defenders, reading that Canadians blue stairs. They played that well, even if it wasn't the cleanest one. But then, like, Ambi gets a 1vx and a very close 3v3, and then, well, that round happens. It's been very individual from Shopify, and by individual, I mean it's this guy right here. Literally, the vast majority of his kills, 7 of his 9 kills in the past 2 rounds. Snape tries to go in for a plan, and we're just sending it too early, guys. Like, we've not burned any util. It's 1 minute and 50 seconds. I don't know if it was a missed call, a missed time, or Nafe accidentally hit the vault and the plant key, but the whole team is here. It's a bar games defense. We are... The smoke is stocked. We still got top library. What did we think was going to happen? Ambi's got 10 kills. Ambi's got 8 kills in the past 3 rounds. We did no work.
Tonight, Avon Labs.
We did no work.
I was like, are we back on Labs right now? Like, what's going on? Why are we just rushing in and trying to get a plant down? You can just see Nate getting chunked down in a Toxic Babe canister.
This is the first one I'm pulling up the VAR. Like, what has occurred? What happened here?
What is Spirits gonna do? Surely he doesn't do this, right? They know exactly where he is. They just need to play patient. Talk about building off one player. The advantage that Shopify have got is that they've got multiple players that can pop off. Whether it's Spoit on Lair or whether it's Ambi here on Chalet. It doesn't really matter too much. Spirits is actually going to take a kind of seldom seen tactical timeout here. Ambi. He gets down and finished off by Surf.
10-3.
We can't be giving those kills away to Spirits.
I've gone back and watched that round, by the way. I really do not know why we decided to execute there.
I don't feel comfortable with the Wii comp. I was not a part of that. I would have called against it.
Like I really don't know what the game plan was there. Like, what we're just smoking the window? Like, sir, it's just a smoke stock. It's not like even Nafe was planning in an off spot. He's planning at the window.
There were so many steps in that round that just didn't get completed by DZ. It was like they skipped straight to the last chapter of the book. Maybe not even the last chapter, maybe the last page.
I just like...
I don't know what it was that they saw that they thought that they could go for it. Just about everything got thrown there as well.
You know what? You like, okay, you know what? We gotta talk about this, because you have talked about this a couple times. Like, I have seen so many teams do this, and I get the vision, right? You throw the EMPs down, and you think you can disable all the utility. That timing is not as easy as you think it is. And the reason I know that is the amount of times I have seen teams pick Thatcher and then still die to the C4, still die to the smokes, and they're literally betting the whole execute on that. If those EMPs don't land, you die. And it's not just a DZ thing, by the way. Like, I've seen a bunch of top teams do this, but I've seen DZ do it quite a few times. I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm a personal fan of that.
It doesn't sound like you are.
No, I'm not. And like, listen, DZ's still like doing like those first two attacks were still very good, and Ambi's obviously popping off. But like, I'm not a fan of these Thatchers we keep seeing brought. Like, oh, we'll get in the quick plant and disable all the C4s and smokes. Oh, we mistimed the Thatchers. Now the diffuser's in sight. Crap. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. That's a me thing.
And you're allowed. Guess what? You're allowed to not be a fan. I don't particularly like it either. It's a very fine margin in the game at this level that is already on very fine margins. I don't want to make them any finer. And it's if it worked, we'd have been sat here calling them geniuses. And sometimes, guess what? It works. But more often than not, I feel like it doesn't.
It's one of those strats. It's like, it is a good idea. It's a very cool idea. And if it works, you're right, it looks great. But when it doesn't work, it's like, you just look silly. It's all off the back of one guy's util. Anyway, Sun take. A lot of Bs expended.
Well, they've definitely got everything they need for it. And they've used a heck of a lot of util to try and breach through this. Surely only a matter of time until we see somebody hop in. There it is, Spirits. Ooh, he's actually hunting.
Ooh.
He might come head to head right now.
I really like this. This is something that they will do with Spirits. They'll just try to get him set up really quick with the Deimos when they see there's like a 1v1 around the site. I mentioned they do it on Cafe earlier. They're trying to do it here. Through the wall, will find Spoit. This is an attack I like. What the hell? What the? Holy shit, what is going on? Oh, Spirits 3K? Dude,
I mean, Spirit's 3K, but Surf isn't too far behind him. He's picked up 2. NJL's quite low.
Ooh, nice shot. It took everything in my power not to say the F word there. What?
I mean, the finisher there, the 2 players on the window really locking it down.
Give him credit for that.
DZ with a bit of a lash out round, honestly.
I really liked it. Like, that's what I mean. They have nice
I like it a
calls.
lot. It was kind of uncharacteristic for Shopify to play it that way, though, because they really overreacted to that, which isn't something that we see them do too often. We don't often see a huge overreaction from Shopify. Usually the reaction is very tempered and very commensurate with the sort of the action and the cause that causes it.
I just can't get over that. Frost, literally everybody flashed. Defender in the middle of 2 attackers. It's bizarre. Another strange
3-3.
3-3 though.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It might have gotten a bit shaky and gotten away from DZ in that half, but they still get 3 attacks, which, again, in a weird twist of fate, puts them in the upper echelon of Chalet teams. I mentioned, I think we've only had, 3 games so far this stage where the attack got 3 rounds on attack, and one of them was in a full 8-7 game. That wild card played against SSG on yesterday, and they only won 3 attacking rounds out of 8 played.
Protect your bombs from being used by attackers.
People are really struggling with these attacks onto Chalet this stage. Not entirely sure why. I honestly didn't really become fully aware of the phenomenon until yesterday when I looked. I'm like, oh my god, 57%. Parker said it on cast. 57% defensive win rate. You just don't see that on Chalet. Rarely, if ever. But Darkzero get 3-3 here. We'll see how Shopify do. I mentioned earlier against M80, Ollie, the utility. Cade Tubarão, Jaeger Wamai, really tripping Shopify up on these attacks. Won't see the Cade Tubarão here. Both are options for Darkzero. But instead, it is full Azami Castle, and that can easily be a problem for any team.
Attackers must locate
It's as big a problem, isn't it?
100%.
You know, you sort of swap in a difficulty in opening hard breach to a difficulty in opening a lot of different things, and some of which you're going to expect, but they're going to be a bit of a rock in the road. Those Cuba barricades, you know, castle barricades, they can only get put on windows and doors, but those Cuba barricades, we see some pretty ingenious locations for those things. And there's always a bit of a dice roll as to where it's going to be. You've got to have somebody in the right position to deal with that. We've got a few DMRs on the side of SR, so I'm sure it is going to be something that will be dealt with.
Gotta run it.
2 nades as well. But still, it is going to take a little bit of work. I do worry for Shopify coming in with a need to get attacking wins now, because of obviously what we've seen already from them on M80. But, you know, call that the warm-up. Let's just call it for what it was. You know, it wasn't a game for Shopify. It's best of 3s for a reason. They've already got some reps in on this map tonight, and if they can try and rectify some of the problems that they were facing there internally, maybe it'll put them in a better position to deal with the problems that DZ are putting up against them. At the moment, there's quite a lot of utility inside of Library, but it hasn't slowed Spoit down from making a bit of progress.
Ooh.
Spirits, though, he's going to get caught out on the drone.
Yeah.
Immediately challenged there by Ambi. He wasn't even the one on the Deathmark track. That was Castle all the way over in office.
It's already a very different ideology being brought by Darkzero than we saw from M80. Maybe there's one guy roaming, then they immediately fall back behind the setup. This is a full, extension from DZ. I'm 90% sure we saw nobody play in a position like that in the M80 game when M80 were on the defenses. And Shopify struggled to get opening picks. That entire half, the back half of that game, 5 rounds won by M80 on defense, 5 opening duels won by M80. They didn't drop a single opening death. Already out the gate, Shopify breaking that trend from their Chalet game earlier. And Spirits playing positions like that, not really able to be traded. That's going to be something that Shopify really like to see.
Kind of interesting the investment that's gone over into that solar side as well, and there's just been zero interest from SR in trying to deal with it.
Don't need to.
Do you have the breach open? Canadian actually just going to hop straight in.
Yeah.
Is he going to try and get it down here?
He certainly can.
Very easily could. There's no denial. Spirits is already down.
Great trade. See another one come through. Shopify going with the absolute minimum control they need. Pamazu, oh, the timing there. Falls off the sprint through the tiniest X-Kairos hole you've ever seen. Sport's got a direct line onto that bedroom rotate. And all Shopify know they need, office wall open and piano watched. We'll get a diffuser down quicker than you can blink.
Very impressive from SR to get that done with the little control that they had, but it just goes to show you don't always need full map control to make something happen, especially if you get some really crucial early picks. Spirits, I'm really not a fan of that play on those library stairs, especially not as the smoke. And especially when you're not bringing any sort of K2 brow to stop the wall from being open. The wall was half left soft as well, by the way. So it was a real aggressive hold from DZ. They'd sort of fortified library in a way that they felt like they could hold it from afar. And I don't know if Spirits maybe got caught out there and was destined for somewhere else, but it did just seem like a really weird position for a smoke to play.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, like, we've seen teams play before. I actually remember in a Black Dragons game at SAO, we saw Flash replay that spot. And sometimes what we'll see smokes do is, like, if the take is taking a while, they'll, like, back down the stairs and try to rat. But Andy was also in games. They were ready for it. So this is my concern for DZ. Like, extending like this is not bad. This is not a bad call. But you need to be concerned because this is different than the way Shopify... This is a different kind of style than the one that smoked them earlier. And if they prove to be good at isolating players like that, you gotta be quick, because this is map 3, and 4-3 is one thing. 5-3, entirely different matter.
Yeah, the momentum will really start to build there for Shopify. I still feel like they're quite tentative at the moment. They do feel still battered and bruised, but slowly but surely starting to build a lead here. Difficulty, of course, is that it's going to be a different site now again, so it involves a whole new set of parameters for SR to deal with. And I think that DZ, if they just tighten things up a little bit and make it a bit more difficult on that opening engagement, very similar to what you were saying about the M80 game, we might see them struggle just a little bit more. Rexon just going to get himself down here. See if he can get a little bit of phantom pressure in onto the bottom of West Main. Open up a couple of those windows. Get rid of the default camera. There's good drone work going on upstairs. We know there's a Zami inside of Piano. Shouldn't be too difficult to deal with.
Oh.
Got plenty of DMRs. But you're really going to be relying on Canadian to go in there and make a little bit of space.
Oh.
And under the cover of the Lion scan, he's going to charge in through bathroom.
There we go. Immediate blind. C4 out. Oh, it is chaos. It is insanity on that engagement. But Darkzero coming away with it. Diffuser dropped outside of bathroom 2. Rexon not able to trade out that player, or if he did. Actually, I think he did. It is still advantage DZ. Spoiled on cleanup. Got the hard pings right behind the Kiba. Firing some shots. Spirits falls. Huge find. Tries to wrap around. Neither seeing each other. Spoiled with a double. But it's got to be 4.
Feels so bad for Spoy that might not be enough.
I know.
Like, he's just picked up 2 incredible kills. He can recover the diffuser, and he's got loads of time.
A lot of time.
10 and 4, we've already seen him pop off multiple times today. Could this be another occasion?
It'll be difficult. No calls, no flashes, and a crossfire set up by the defense. 1 short, 1 long. He'll check it right first. Sees him, just the back. Knows the Jaeger's there. Tagged up. So many bullets, so many chances to make this work. He had crazier shots earlier, but there's too much to deal with. Darkzero, play it patient, don't overextend, but that round was won when they repelled the initial breach.
DZ leveling up once again. Nothing separating these two on Chalet. We deserved all 3 maps for this series. And I'm glad that we're getting them, and I'm glad that it's close here on the final map. Feels like as the rounds go by, SR stabilize a little bit more every single round. It kind of almost feels like DZ are the team that are holding on at the moment. Spoy almost with another highlight for the reel. Doing such a good job. The amount of utility that he was in then as well was unbelievable. He was on a bulletproof camera. He was inside an FNAT. Just everything was against him.
It was. But I also think it's fair. We should also acknowledge Darkzero showing that just because they're not running that K2 does not mean they're not learning some of the lessons from that M80 game. We don't see Spirits or anybody from DZ extended nearly as far out like we saw Spirits in round 7. Instead, they're all playing around Piano. They're all in tradable positions. They're not overextending. So just because they're not running the secret to that MAD game, round 7 a bit more of an anomaly. They know the game plan. Play together, don't give any clear gaps, and SR will struggle. That's the lesson to be learned from round 8.
Canadians had a really rough time of just running into people on the blitz as well tonight. It's the second time we've seen him lose one of those really close range engagements.
It's also, I mean, to be fair, Ambi was covering him right there, but Darkzero called Spirits over and shot Ambi in the head, so it was a good reaction by the defense.
Oh, I think you've got to credit DZ for it. Oh, unfortunate there on the nade throw. The second one will be good for it, though. We'll destroy the castle barricade, but Spirits, he's happy to walk right up to that thing and just poke his head. See if there's anything there to be found. Bar Games defense. Shock drone going into sight, just seeing what util it can grab. Always going to be something kicking around there. Grismot mine, Goo mine, whatever it might be. Spirits is in a super aggro position here, and he's got a chance to play quite nicely with Citizen onto that snow balcony. All depends on if there's an attacker that is going to be inside of that area, but his location is now known. That's a brilliant drone from Rexon.
Oh, that's a shame, too. Ambi used both his nades on that castle barricade. If he had that second one, he could actually throw it through that window. It's small things like that. If he doesn't biff that first nade, maybe you have something different. Sadly not. Will be a 5v5. Spirits backs off, and it's just a normal full clear from Shopify. This is the site where we would see them bring that Rora Ollie. Close off the double window, or close off the double door and the single on Library 2. Not present this time. Shopify know that that's a well-known Shopify attack at this point.
Yeah, I think they've got to show that flexibility in being able to do other things. I think they've got some other tools for the job as well, right? You know, they can still try and make this work off the back of the blitz. Surf is going to be outside of Library right now. Library, fairly uncontested at the moment as well. Obviously has been a presence up here, but he can slowly but surely make a little bit of vert, try and make that stock player feel a bit more uncomfortable. Rexon was like knocking on the door of the site right there as well.
This is
he too will be allowed to make that rotation upstairs.
It's a classic Rexon lurk. Often finds himself mulling about main lobby. You can see Darkzero might have accounted for that. Citizen has retook Fireplace Stairs. One player long haul outside of Dining too. If Shopify drop down, they might have the angles, and with only one drone, I don't know if the intel of these players are here. In the meantime, there will be a lot of pressure bearing down on the site. Spirits also going for a really long flank. Slips by Ambi, doesn't see him! Neither of them know! Ambi's so focused on the flank, Spirits has completely slipped by, and Rexon falls down! They fully retake Fireplace, only 7 seconds left. Ambi's so far behind the play, he's back on Nighthaven! Shopify have no chance, not a chance in hell in round 9. DZ take the lead.
What a slippy play there. How Spirits manages to sneak himself past Ambi. Ambi just watching, I don't know, the wrong angle, not the right angle, an angle that had a gap in it, something that just gave an opportunity away. And it was kind of befitting, right? That Spirits gets those kills from the double window, where he was revealed at the start of the round, willing to play that spot aggressively way back when Ambi fluffed his nade onto that castle barricade. Droned out there, rotated off, was able to make it back. Felt like a journey.
Ollie, opening pick happened. 12 seconds left.
Ridiculous. Slowest round we've seen all day. 10 players alive. And there's 12 seconds left.
You gotta feel for Ambi there. You gotta feel for Ambi. That's just one of those small things. You're in the moment, you're watching the flank, you think you've got it. And they just didn't know about the rotate. Made by DZ, I'm pretty sure. Made by DZ early in the round, in case they wanted to play over there.
Do you feel for Ambi or do you feel for Rexon? Because Rexon's the one that died.
Okay, well, like, yes, obviously I feel for Rexon because he died, but Ambi's supposed to be watching that. You know Ambi's kicking himself right now. He's 12-7 too. He's had a great game so far. And in a moment like that, when the score's so close, you let it slip by. Listen, I'm not a player. I'll acknowledge that. But I'm a human being. And if I were there, I'd be pissed at myself. And so I feel...
you're going to feel...
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to feel
I feel for him for that. Because he was trying to do his job. Maybe he's pushed a little deep. Maybe they didn't respect the rotate enough. Maybe they didn't know. I don't know. But it's such a small thing that when you're in that moment, you don't think it's going to affect anything. You think you're doing the job. So that's why I feel for him. And it might end up being an extremely pivotal moment
Attackers have located
As Spirits
the
hits
bomb.
that flank with 12 seconds remaining, and now Darkzero back in the lead, 5-4. It has been a weird series. Momentum not swinging back and forth between maps, but certainly not within them up until this point.
It's a real weird one for Ambi as well, because if he was, say he was watching flank cams, there's a very good chance that he sees that flank on a cam.
Probably.
But because everyone's alive, there's nobody watching cams. Like, no one's got the space to start flicking. You're just watching angles. You're just like, I'm just going to watch the angle instead of watching the camera, because like, everyone's alive. Like, we need to be on it here. We need to be ready. Real unfortunate one. DZ again. Such narrow leads in this map on Chalet. Really not a lot separating these two. Is it Spirits' turn? We've seen Ambi pop off. The old Boss G.
Spirits brought the Boss G back in NA. Brought it.
See the reason?
I mean, honestly, like he was bringing it really heavily on Wildcard back in 2023 Stage 2, and yep, that man's the reason.
I mean, it might not have been the Boss G, but it was still pretty nasty.
Also, guess what? We play round 7, 8, and 9. Ban phase completes, and what do we see in round 10? Cade Tub.
Bring it home. Now is the time for DZ to cement this lead. It is something that Shopify really struggled to deal with. Losing Rexon is not going to help that cause either. Shock Drone, of course, a great tool to try and deal with those pieces of utility. Without that, SR haven't really got too much to try and deal with a Cade or a Tubarão. And try and work some of these angles from below, and it looks as though that's going to be a big focus right now, but Spirits is on the prowl in a big way. He's got some track singers to deal with. All he needs is a very narrow angle. And he's got a chance.
Oh, he's got a chance. Again, the blitz goes down. Again, an operator that Shopify are betting a lot of these attacks on falls. Their secondary gambles. Spoit popping off. Ambi going big. Only players having consistent impact on Shopify. The round is falling on their shoulders as Surf expends all his utility. It's just Ambi on another flank watch up in a 2v5 as all of Darkzero are pulling back, forcing this plant. Merciless. Not giving a single opening. They are rubbing their face in it. In the back of Surf and Ambi's head is Nafe saying Lair was a fluke. Nighthaven is real. This is our first time on Chalet. This is your third, and we're gonna dominate. We are sending it to match point. We are destined for that grand final, and the rematch will not go your way.
DZ locking it in there. Not taking any chances. That's probably the most patient we've seen DZ play all night long. And it's when it matters the most. Another round where we're seeing a ton of util kills as well. NJR has been on fire tonight with those C4s. Citizen joining him inside of that round as well. We've seen multiple occasions from Darkzero, whether it be by C4 or even by grenade on attack, they've been picking up those util kills. SR trying to counter the Tubarão Cade by going for a solar-sided push, but they just did not have the minerals to pull it off. Spirits was just left to run ragged and roughshod over Rexon in that opening engagement. And from that point onwards, he was just a constant thorn in the side, ready to strike.
10 seconds left.
The pressure that he applied was enough on its own to really give DZ a huge boon inside of that round. Now they only stand 1 round away.
1 round away from grand finals. You mentioned Spirits being a thorn in their side, something we should mention. Every round Darkzero have won, they've got the opening pick. Save one, they recovered an opening pick loss in round 2. Every single round DZ have won, they've got an opening pick. And every opening pick they have has been acquired by Spirits. On attack or defense, Darkzero have 5 opening duel victories. Spirits has 5 opening kills. 3 in a row so far. that one resulting in a flawless. And with the Cade tub setup, an opening kill is a death sentence. Because you get that 5v4, and you retreat behind the worst utility, the most annoying, cumbersome utility the defense could possibly throw at you.
And they've got it again. It might be a mid-floor site, but it still requires a top-floor hold. And that's what DZ are going to be bringing here. And what could be our final round of the night. Not getting as aggro in the early portion of the round. Instead, recognizing they can kind of just sit and wait a little bit. They don't need to overextend. They don't need to give away any chances. Nade going to get sent in there. It will actually destroy the ADS and the Kiba. Spirits. He's got a pocket full of those. He can replace that on the piano. The ADS, a little bit more of a problem. Let's see how SR try and get rid of this Cade Claw now. We're going to go for a couple of Hibana pellets on the soft floor. Got some good info as to what's going on in the site. Still a long old way to go. That Cade Claw's placed high isn't going to do anything for opening that breach.
I'm feeling nervous. This is literally exactly what Shopify tried to do against M80 earlier, and it didn't work. That Hibana hole, that's the same placement. Canadian going down, it's the same trend. It's the same positions from DZ, the same time-old, tired attacks on this map. That even against OXG, they needed Spoit to bail them out. They needed star players to give them the W. And it is goodbye indeed. It is smooth sailing into the grand final. All business cold as ice in the rematch. Darkzero pummel Shopify and cement their spot in the upper bracket.
What a series we have just seen between these two titans of North America. You've got to feel for the boys on Shopify Rebellion. They have been through the ringer here tonight. And those last couple of rounds, DZ really made it painful. Just sewing up the map entirely and not giving Shopify an inch to breathe. We said that this was a pride game. We said it was a bit of a grudge match. And DZ have their revenge. We're going to throw it one last time over to our wonderful desk. They're going to break it down and get us all ready for tomorrow.
Where's the trophy?
Let's fucking go, boys. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Don't troll first. Let's fucking go. Yes! When it comes to a BO3, the Kings come out on top! Yes! Yes!
I think we heard them in the end. When it comes to a BO3, the Kings come out on top when they meet in the playoffs, when it matters the most. Darkzero are able to take the win over Shopify Rebellion, getting some revenge in the grudge match. We've got Nafe standing by as promised. We brought you back. We knew we'd speak to you later. You guys take the win. How does it feel to settle this rivalry, to get them back here in the upper bracket?
Yeah, it's been a year of ownership from them to us. So to beat those guys, I don't know if I can swear, but you know what I want to say. My God, it's about time we beat those guys. I want to say it, but I'll give you PG for the chat.
Right. I mean, I know how that feels. The first time we beat Sonics after like 2 years felt pretty good. But that being said, I mean, you guys lost map 2, right? You guys already had a whole series beforehand. How do you guys bounce back in map 2 into map 3, but also stay so lively, have that energy after such a long day of performing?
Yeah, well, funnily enough, after the first map, we actually pre-ordered some tire place, and we all literally, in between like the 10 minutes we had before, like, between the maps, literally all started munching. We were all hoovering the food down. I don't know, must have given us a bit of life. Actually, it might have actually trolled us because we then proceeded to lose Lair. So maybe it was a bad call from us, but I don't know. I mean, they actually played very well on Lair. I'll give it to them. They abused the class. We were lacking adaptations that we had on Chalet. So yeah, I think it's just a bit down to experience. But I mean, yeah, we were by far the better team today.
Well, Naif, again, congratulations. I had full faith in you guys. I chose you guys to win this matchup. You know, I don't want you to necessarily keep it PG, but is there anything that you want to say to the Shopify guys? Or anyone,
Yeah, fuck those guys.
anyone.
They've owned me for too long.
I was gonna say, or anyone in particular.
Nah, people want to like create all this drama about me and Troy, all that kind of stuff. If people want to do that, that's fine. But at the end of the day, my team is the only thing that's important to me in that game. Obviously, beating them is great, but it's first place that matters to us. And whether we have to play them again next, I don't know when we play in a day or two's time. If it's them or someone else, that's the main thing. At the end of the day.
Well, you guys did it, and it was pretty convincing. I mean, like Fox said, the huge bounce back, especially after the momentum shift of then going down, losing your guys' map, but then again, to then go into Chalet after a long, grueling day to be able to bounce back. I mean, huge pat on the back for you guys.
Appreciate it.
I guess final thing for you, Nave, how would you feel about potentially running into these guys again on Saturday? There is that chance that you face them again in the grand final. We could see the grudge match of the grudge match of the grudge match. What would that be like for you guys? Would you look forward to that game?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they've still had our number, so I think what am I against them since Troy joined them? I think got 3-1, 1-3, sorry. So we've still got a bit of catching up to do. So yeah, we're still looking forward to that game. It's another best of 3 again. I mean, we're looking forward to it.
All right, you guys get a full off day tomorrow, so you guys are good to sit back, rest, and we will see you on Saturday for that grand final. Best of luck.
Thank you. See you then.
All right, thanks, Nave. A big win to close it out. Darkzero finally settled the score in the upper bracket, but they still may have to do it again in the grand final. Fox, obviously, we talked about the stamina this requires. It's been a long day for these players, but when it mattered the most, they buckled down and they got it done.
Absolutely. I mean, both teams, obviously, the stamina goes without saying, very impressive. And one thing that I didn't account for when it came to a map like Chalet is I was saying that Shopify Rebellion was the more aggressive team. So when they're going for those picks, headhunting players, they would have the edge. But one thing that I didn't account for is DZ not moving, them just posting up every single time Shopify would try to push in, and the crossfires that DZ had, it was similar to the Shopify that we watched earlier. I don't know if it was earlier today or the other day, but they just didn't have a response. It was earlier today. They didn't have a response to clear out utility when it came to Chalet, and they couldn't get through DZ's crossfires, and I think that's where Shopify fell short. DZ, hey, they definitely had some stones on them to be able to just post up and not let, the players on Shopify scare them.
Well, their victory is the end of what was a very eventful day 2 of the playoffs here in the NAL. We started out with some semis. We got to the upper bracket final. It was a big day that sent some big names down to the lower bracket. No one eliminated just yet, Lax, but of course, M80, Wildcard, and now Shopify. They will compete in the lower bracket tomorrow. I mean, tough way to lose that game so close in the opening matchup. M80, I mean, they came so close.
Yeah, I mean, the 2-1s, the 2-0s, the 1-2s, it doesn't really paint the picture of what these games truly lived out to be. Now, I will say those first 2 to start out were by far heavy hitting back and forth, whereas the last day, I think it definitely came down to stamina. I mean, the last match definitely came down to a little bit of stamina, running out of steam in those matchups, but the last game definitely delivered. But again, the big one for me was definitely the first game of the day with that M80 Shopify. That was a very, very hectic and chaotic game that just went down to the wire, especially in those the second to last map, then going into the last map of a huge clutch coming out of Troy.
Well, as always, we got to cap off our play day with the black light detail of the day. We turn to Cafe Wildcard against Darkzero. This was round number 9, something we touched on a good bit already, Fox, but take us back there, the moment that Wildcard spiced it up with this Aurora play.
I mean, this was just some intelligence, very innovative. You shut the Aurora doors down so that as they're closing down, nobody can really have a response. But the beautiful part about this is the classic post plant when you're able to get a Sinks plant. It's so difficult to be able to survive once you get that plant off. So obviously Dash is going to go down, but he did his job with the Aurora. But then the setup, Wildcard knowing that the door's closing would buy them enough time to be able to get it down. They get 2 players up top with DMR to look through the floor, 1 player bottom white. I mean, the post plant, the premeditated strategy from them was so innovative that you guys can try that in your own ranked games if you're able to, you know, get through a full top-down clear if you have a full coordinated team. You get that
Can't even
far.
get to the building.
If you get that far and you hit the reward doors, that's a surefire way to get a free plan.
Yeah, no, but I'm getting spawn peek before I even get to the
gonna
window,
say.
so I'm not getting that far.
It's tough in gold.
Exactly. Well, that at the end of the day, we look now to what the next 2 days hold. The playoff bracket laxing. Obviously, we just talked about the quarterfinals now established in the lower bracket, but that means, and the toughest thing to say is that we're going to have to say goodbye to 3 teams tomorrow because we're going to be playing through those quarters and that lower semifinal. Wildcard Oxygen, M80 Space Station. Some heavy-hitting matchups down below.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually looking forward to the Oxygen versus Wildcard to kick off the day.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for Oxygen's sake. You know, I didn't know what we were going to see coming out of them in a best of 3, but they definitely kept it scrappy. They did fight back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done, but there's still life. They still can come back. We could possibly see them in a grand final, to say the least. Obviously, that's a little bit of a stretch, but nobody's out just yet, but it definitely will happen tomorrow.
I mean, the performance that we saw from Wildcard and M80 for me today was just so strong that obviously they have to be the favorites going into tomorrow. We have to see if the little bit of a day off was able to shape up OXG and SSG. A little bit of a wake-up call. It's never too late because nobody is eliminated, and who knows? I mean, we've seen crazier things than a team losing out first, making it all the way to the finals, so we'll have to see tomorrow.
Well, it's been a long day, but an exciting one, and we look forward to so much more playoff action here in the NAL over the next 2 days. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those of you interested in some more Siege action, stick around. APL is coming up next, but for our studio crew here in Philadelphia, our producers Devin and Ferme, our director Ian, for Foxe and Laxing, I'm Jonas Willinger saying thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. for Elimination Day here in the NAL. We will say goodbye to some teams, and we will get this show on the move. See you then. Have a good one.